G'day guys and welcome back to the Rainbow Six Pro League. It's ANZ time again. I'm Dev. Joining me once again, Monkey Fist for Playday number 6. No?
10.
10.
10.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Okay.
It's a good start, but so we got one match tonight and that's just about it, isn't it, Monkey?
Yeah, just the one match, although I think it's going to deliver. All matches seem to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, we
well.
got a nice mix of teams. We've been kind of chatting a bit before, a bit this, bit there. We can have a chat in more detail diving into the teams a bit later. But I just want to say the reason I said Playday 6 is because it's week 5, and it was week 5 yesterday, and then I was like week 5 plus 1. But wait, no, that's weeks, not days. Oh my god,
Just
I messed
recover,
up.
back on track. Let's go.
So it's today. It will be Avant and Mindfreak going at it.
Avant and Mindfreak, yes, two teams that coming into this season we're both very excited about, thinking that these guys might be challenging for the top dog position. Mindfreak have been a bit disappointing, and
Yeah.
Avant have really, what are they, 5th right now? So they're getting up there, but I think some people had thoughts that they would maybe even make top 2 if they can really pull it out.
Yeah, that's right. So, of course, we have 7 teams in the Pro League at the moment. This is how that pans out so far, as you said, Monkey. Mindfreak selling on the bottom, and just after last night's matches between Oddity and Fnatic, which were both draws, actually, Oddity gained that 2 points that has now put them ahead of Avant. You can see they're currently resting on the same number of points, but that round differential is in Oddity's favor, pushing Avant down to 5th place, which is one step closer to those relegation spots.
Yeah, well, even coming into this season, just going back to the Avant angle, Avant beat August in a grand final and for Cyber Gamers. So coming into this, we're Avant can beat one of the best teams in the region. They can get right up there, but they haven't really put the numbers up throughout the whole season, have they?
Yeah, that's right. We can dive more into that later, but let's have a look at what we'll be seeing tonight. So just the one match, as we said, it'll be a double best of 1, as we do over here in APAC, down under, Avant and Mindfreak versus, and then later on, Mindfreak, Avant. It's nice and simple, isn't it? Just 2 matches for these guys. So they get a chance to warm up in that first match and maybe adapt to the play style of their enemies as they head into map number 2.
Yeah, well, I hope it's going to be fast and furious right out the gates, to be honest. Both these teams have got a lot to prove still.
Yeah.
I know we've only, we're near the end of this season, but yeah, as I said, I was expecting a lot more from both these teams, and I think they both expect a lot more from themselves.
100%. I think that Mindfreak is been. They came into Pro League just this season, and they've been sitting at the bottom, which is below people's expectations. But on the other side, let's talk about Avant for just a minute. So obviously, they've just got this new org, this giant org in the ANZ region, and they've been playing really well with it. They've had good performances and some drawbacks as well, but some victories that they can, brag about.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like, that they'll put themselves in winning positions and end up losing it. They're not the team that's going to grind out a victory. It feels like they have to have everything be going for them great from the start, and sometimes it doesn't, and that's a loss to a team that they should really be winning against.
Yeah, and it's really funny because they're often the team that wins against teams that they shouldn't be winning against. So you mentioned August recently in the Pro League. Avant did defeat August on Villa.
Yeah.
And then earlier, as you mentioned, the Cyber Gamer finals of the previous season, that was a Silver League. There's money on the line there, and Avant took that grand final as well. So these guys have had good performances, but they also were knocked out first round in the Summer Series to LFO, which was a disappointing performance as well. Now, the most recent roster addition we have is Luna, who come from not an extensive comp experience, but she did perform very well in her debut. So still, decent player, and I have faith in this roster.
Yeah, I do as well. And I know both the coaches for Avant, Max and Shifty, fairly well. And, just from seeing how much work that those guys are putting in, I hardly see them hanging around anymore because they're doing stuff for the org and doing stuff for the team. So, I think they've got that whole structure, support structure, and the players to go far. They just need to stop losing these games where they should be winning.
That's really great to see. So Mindfreak is a second team, the team that Avant will be versing. Now, these guys have been through quite a few recent roster changes, which I think a lot of people were very wary about how that would affect the team. Obviously, as we said, they were 8th place, now 7th place due to GRU disbanding. They were bottom of the Pro League. For the first half of the Pro League, they didn't do well. They lost 2 players, Kings and Crescent, and Kings in particular has a lot of prestige behind his name. Picked up Spruce and JCZ from what's now called TBD. My God, they've been through a couple names.
More than a couple.
More than just a couple, yeah. And so Mindfreak, you would have thought after that they wouldn't be performing as well, but the results have shown differently in the Summer Series.
Yeah, that's true. Coming into this season of Pro League, like this squad completely dominated Challenger League, and everyone's like, this might be another team that's going to be challenging right up the top as well. Yeah. But I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just, the different playing environment. It's just a step up from the Challenger League as well. But, these players have all played in Pro League before and in top teams before as well. It just seems like, they just couldn't find the winning formula.
Yeah, and that's really funny. Mindfreak, as you mentioned, during the Challenger League, they were kind of the pug stars. They were 5 players who had really prestigious backgrounds from Pro League teams, thrown together last minute, and they qualified for Challenger League and did really well in that Challenger League environment, but now in Pro League haven't been prospering quite so much. We've got Avant and we've got Mindfreak. Avant have been around for quite a while now. They've been through some roster changes. You've mentioned their support network, very strong. Mindfreak been through a lot of very recent changes, but had better performance in the Summer Series than Avant, who disappointed us there. How do we feel this is going to shape up?
Well, I'm thinking, based off the results and where they are on the table, it's going to be Avant. Especially seeing as Mindfreak have gone through the more drastic roster changes recently.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Avant are going to edge this one. Although, if the Mindfreak players show up, they can, take anything.
Yeah, you know what's really funny? I'm inclined to agree with you, but the first time Mindfreak played with their new roster, they actually performed incredibly well. So I find it super hard to predict Mindfreak. Anyhow, let's get into the maps. Let's have a talk about where we are expecting to be seeing. You've monkey fist yourself, done a bit of research. You're feeling pretty confident in your predictions on this one, so enlighten us.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing is these two teams played last week in another league, and it came down to Clubhouse. Now, it came down to Villa or Clubhouse, which both these teams have played quite a bit, and I think Mindfreak decided to ban Villa against them rather than play Villa because of how good we've seen Avant play on Villa, especially against teams like August and such. That being said, it didn't work out to them too well because Avant did win that matchup 7-1.
So already a recent history of a dominant performance on Clubhouse. That it will be one of the default bans, fortunately, for Mindfreak. But as you mentioned, they were already cautious of playing Villa. So Bank off the table as well as Coastline, just leaving us with Border, Consular and Villa. So that Villa still very much on the table.
Yeah, well, Bank is the second most banned map for Mindfreak. It's also a map that Avant have banned quite a lot. So they're going to be happy to see that taken off the table so far. They're going to also take out Coastline, another favourite ban for Avant. So what are we left with? So Villa is banned, actually.
There you go. So Border's the one left over, which is one that we've actually seen Avant ban a huge number. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, a huge number of times. 5 times they've banned it during the Pro League season.
Oof.
And they're going to bring it out here. So a bit of a curveball.
Interesting, isn't it? So
it is interesting because I remember, I think last season, Avant were quite happy to play Border. So
yeah, and
it's not like they're not practiced on it.
Yeah, and the thing is, you mentioned that support network that they have behind them. 2 coaches, in fact, Max and Shifty, who those guys have both been around for a really long time in the scene. And that kind of support network is what enables you to have the kind of preparation that you need to then play on a map that you've been banning so proficiently. So are we feeling this will be an Avant-sided match? And it's difficult not to kind of sound biased because we've been talking all about Avant. But is that what we're looking at here?
What you like biased towards you thinking it's going to be an Avant win?
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of getting at.
Yeah, well, I don't know. So I think it is going to be an Avant win.
Yeah, okay. MF have only banned this one time, and it looks like they've played it twice in recent history as well. Yeah. So, maybe a bit more play time than Avant themselves, which I guess gives an advantage over to Avant in terms of the VOD capabilities, what they're able to research against their opponents. So, bit up in the air, but maybe we are leaning onto the Avant side.
But yeah, I just am so puzzled that we've ended up here on Border because Consulate was the last map banned, and Avant have never banned Consulate during the Pro League. So, I don't know. They've probably got some surprises hidden for us and something interesting.
This is what I love to see. I love to see when you do have a strong support network on a team that can do that kind of preparation. Because, you guys know I'm a massive nerd. I love that kind of stuff.
Well, you're here talking about video games. We know that.
All right. Settle down, Monk. So, I mean, Border as a map, right? You're talking about one of the easiest maps, in my opinion, to play when you haven't got these prepared strats. Obviously, there are lots of ways to kind of come into this really prepared with unique things, but I think Border, everyone knows how to attack Border. It's similar to Oregon. It's small, it's manageable, and if you throw together 5 players and tell them to play Border, I think that when you're at this level of individual players, they know what they're doing. So that means that perhaps Mindfreak, with their recent roster changes, even if they haven't spent a lot of time on Border, will still be very comfortable.
Do you think that's more of because there's like a lack of diversity in strats on Border, perhaps?
Perhaps in the old school, but we've seen some really nice things brought out, especially when Mira's been banned or not played. Maestro device is aggressive on the unreinforced armory wall. You know, open up some of the armory wall, have that Maestro device, and play aggressive onto that balcony. There are so many options on Border for new strategies, and it's just a question of when will we see them? When will we see what we're used to seeing in the default and regular?
See, I think also coming into this one, if Mindfreak have done the research as well, they would not be expecting a Border to come out. They would have been expecting Avant to decide to take it to Consulate.
And one thing that we haven't mentioned yet is the Wind Bastion operators now in the game. We may well see them banned out here. It's Ying in first that is eliminated by Avant. I wonder, is that a specific counter ban to any of the Mindfreak players? I'm not sure if I recall any specific Mindfreak player being particularly good at Ying.
Yeah, well, I think it's Avant regularly ban Ying on Border.
Okay.
From memory.
Yeah, I mean,
that being said, they don't have much in recent history, as we were saying.
It also could be that they want to get rid of the Jaeger down the line and don't want to have to deal with the Ying in that situation, because of course we've seen quite a lot of Jaeger bans in the past. Team Liquid did a huge amount of that at the Invitational. It's, you know, a very powerful ban, but you also kind of need to get rid of Ying, otherwise you have to deal with that constantly. But you ban out the Jaeger and the Ying, you can still use those frag grenades and those smoke grenades. And banning Jaeger is something we've seen from Avant in the past on other maps, as you mentioned before.
Yeah, you know, they've banned it out against August on, what was it, Villa, which is the map they won. So are we expecting to see a Jaeger ban? Assuming our theory crafting is correct.
I don't know, it might be a bit far-fetched. It's not locked in instantly, so that tells me it's less likely to be that kind of predetermined ban to go with the Ying. They're spending some time to play with it. So Mira is still in play. Perhaps that Echo ban caught them off guard and they want to get rid of the Mira instead. We'll have a look. It is the Jaeger. So, oh my goodness, aren't we like, we know stuff.
We're wizards.
We really do know our stuff, don't we? Gee. Proud of myself there, Monkey.
You're surprised about yourself, I think.
I'm genuinely surprised that my analysis was correct there because, hey, I'm proud of myself. I got your number, Avant. I really do.
So, Armory Lockers Archives, we've got Avant defending first. So they're not going to have a Jaeger to work with.
Yeah, and something we didn't mention is there's also those that Nomad and Kaid in play, Wind Bastion operators. So Nomad does get, the Nomad air jabs do get affected by ADS devices from Jaeger. So that being taken off the board, that defensive utility means that Nomad will be even more potent. And we've heard how powerful she could potentially be and how, you know, let's say you're attacking Armory, as we can see on screen. Just chuck one over near that half wall or near that lockers, and if anyone picks you, they're just going to go flying. You can completely cut off that rotation without even watching it.
Oh yeah. You can see also in the operator picks we've got a Frost as well. Copper's going to be running that one. Now Frost can be so useful on this top floor because a lot of the windows you can't rappel upside down and shoot frost mats underneath. You either have to make the decision to jump in and shoot the frost trap or, well, okay, not jump in. And you know, when you're jumping in, that's the perfect time for someone to peek you. So my guess is they're either going to have a lot of frost mats over here in security with Fisher Guy, or they're going to be in offices.
Yeah, well, that's really the default spot to put frost mats inside of this CCTV room. So one would be where that alibi device is, and one typically on in break room, just on the... Oh, okay. Copper's decided that he's going to throw our analysis out the window and just go for a spawn peek with the 9mm. That's warding off the board pretty early, so a bit of soft breach, nothing too crazy, but the grenades is the real thing here for me. You know, that's the 2 grenades that Mindfreak brought to the table, completely eliminated, and we're playing without a Jaeger.
I've got no words really, but where was that? Was that towards the east spawn?
Yeah, I expect so. Maybe you're going to run out of officers perhaps, but speaking of officers, it does seem to be where the push is surmounting at the moment. Controller east stairs from wings, but we can also see Spruce having opened up the AC balcony window. Claymored it off to prevent any kind of pressure, and you can see the rest of Mindfreak seem to be pushing around that east side, at least for now. So telegraphing thus far an officer's push, but still not too late to rotate to CCTV.
Yeah, Yeah, they've been very quick on this side of the map, the officers side of Mind Freak, and they're also going to open up into Fountain, or is that? Okay, yeah, it's going off now.
Yeah, but interesting, why are you not destroying the mirror window? Why are you... Okay, so now we're destroying the mirror window. Perhaps it's for another angle, but that pressure inside of CCTV is still dealing some damage as Wings eats a bullet or two from the long hallway.
Yeah, minute half on the clock now. And Mind Freak do look a bit stilted right now. They really need to get some utility in there, start forcing these defenders back and allowing them to advance up with that, as Shade is...
Oh, the wall bang from Copper!
Okay.
That's nice, that really is. So that alibi device that he accidentally shot inside a CCTV was then pinging him out. He takes cover behind triple wall, so he was protected from any angles from long. And guess what? He just gets shot through the wall, through Fountain, and through another one. That's nasty.
That's 2 for Copper this round so far. Long-range spawn peek and a long-range wall bang. This man, someone might need to have a look at his mouse files because that has been nuts so far.
So the Nomad Charger's deploying also inside of the Archives room. Spruce likely wanting to jump in, but he knows as soon as he does so, he'll be incredibly exposed, and he doesn't even have to jump in. Nico sprays him on out through that nasty, nasty angle through the bookcase.
It's going to cause JCZ to step in the Gumon as well. So he's going to get wallbanged down there. Nico with another one.
That is just terrible, isn't it? How does he make it happen? And look, on the final peak, Wings doesn't find a damn thing. Vicious cleans it up. What a dominant round on defense for Avant.
Well. Avant, you know, continuing their form against Mind Freak from their 7-1 victory last week.
Yeah, and I'm telling you right now, as soon as people start heading into matches after watching this broadcast, they're certainly going to be wallbanging that bookcase like we saw from Nico. Now, for a really long time, you've been able to shoot through that tiny wooden panel that separates the two bookcases, so you could just pre-fire through it. It doesn't actually open any line of sight, but the bullets will in fact go through.
Yeah.
However, they won't go through the metal portion. So Nico was taking full advantage of that, and it works incredibly well.
Well, second round, Mind Freak losing a player to a spawn peak. I don't know, it didn't seem to affect him too much in the grand total of the round. It's just when it came to actually making the play into officers, into security, they had no grenades to force out the Valkyrie behind Fountain Wall, and just ended up not doing anything with it and trying to jump into the bomb site and just died.
Yeah, I do find it really interesting these days. You know, remember in the old school days, people used to reinforce the back of Fountain Wall and try and hard hold inside of Fountain. Now the meta really has become to open up that wall from Fountain into the L hallway. You can still hold it inside of Fountain, but it means if you lose that angle, so for example, those Hibana pellets detonating on that Fountain Wall, they could just play in the L hallway and peek towards Fountain, peek through Fountain, retake Fountain, pressure it from a different angle, and it was so successful for Avant. The amount of control that Mind Freak was required to take was just not even on the cards.
Well, as for operator lineups this time, we've got Spruce on a blitz.
Yeah, it's scary, but you also have to get close to people to make it effective. The number of long angles that Mind Freak have been utilizing so far does make me a bit skeptical, especially since you know, there's a decent number of high damage weapons, namely the UMP and Vigil's K1A, still in the hands of the Avant players, and a couple shots to the leg will give Spruce a very difficult job ahead of him.
Copper is about to come face to face here with Spruce, though they do have a crossfire set up from Fountain there. There we go. Copper is going to find it onto Spruce, gets the headshot. Somehow.
Absolutely no potential for a refrag from Mind Freak as well. Second time that they've lost the first player. However, finally, Wings does some work for the team taking out Copper. The Vigil dealt with, so won't have to worry too much about that lack of droning ability. And Wings just going popping off at the moment. That's the alibi out of the picture as well. Despite that, Shade does waste a couple shots onto that alibi device. Still a decent position for Mind Freak with those two entries on the board, and that control of Armory now taken.
Oh, Nico has been discovered and taken very low as well, trying to hide in a bit of a sneaky, cheeky corner.
Not a ton of health left on Nico and Luna as well. His high damage rifles from the attacking side likely to be fairly effective if it comes down to a gunfight, but Avant now playing hard to get downstairs. Still not sure what the play is.
So yeah, Mind Freak have got a perfect setup right now to go for an execute here into ventilation. They just need to hold the rotates and make sure someone goes for the plant.
Whoa.
After they've cleared it out, and there's going to go Nico. Just Vicious and Luna, and no, never mind, they're all dead. It is Mind Freak to respond in kind, only losing the one player.
Yeah, and that was the first pick as well against them. Good double entry from Wings, followed up with some, precise and formulaic gameplay from the rest of Mind Freak, taking control, and just one by one, I guess Avant peeked into their sightlines.
Well, another attempt of ventilation here for Avant. Taken a while to get in their operator picks, and no blitz this time for Spruce. He's gone for the Twitch instead.
Yeah, there's a potential counter to the Kaid, which we will be seeing for the first time from Avant. However, Thatcher's already kind of enough of a counter to that for the most part. Twitch doesn't give you anything that Thatcher doesn't, except for, I guess, additional charges. Now, we are defending vents again, so Avant decided to stick with the same bomb site but change up at least a little bit. What I've seen in the past, and what I personally like to do a little bit of with Kaid, is you play behind that half wall, you've got that shotgun, with air quotation marks, shotgun, and you can hide behind this half wall. You can easily throw your Kaid utility up onto this double wall to protect it as the Thatcher grenades come out. But that said, Thatcher has 3 AMPs and Kaid only has 2 of the electric claw devices.
It's a good nickname for him, I reckon, the electric stick.
I don't know, the Spidey?
The Spidey. The throwable taser.
Something close enough to that. I really like how you can use them on barbed wire as well. I'd love to see a little bit of that more used. And looks like it's actually on the hatch inside of Archives. Not quite what I was expecting, but again, I think that the Thatcher is just the decent hard counter to that. Does look like Archives will be pressured, at least to begin with, from JC, preventing this kind of run out. Ooh, first pick, however, once again goes to Avant.
Yeah, and that's going to be Wings going down, the guy that had the first 2 picks in the last round, of course. He was going ham, that man, but Copper has his number this one.
Another entry from Shade. A little bit concerned. A lot of the time there's no backup on these entries, and it just seems a bit risky. I guess the drone going ahead guarantees to Shade that this is in fact clear as he begins to attempt to open up this exterior wall, but the Kaid could well trick it if he's on the ball well enough. I don't think that that's going to happen, so Shade will successfully open angles into the armory wall.
You can hear that shotgun as well, all across the map.
It's a scary one, isn't it? I believe there's a suppressor as well attached to the barrel, but Kaid at the moment, oh wow, okay, there's a player inside of office. Warden just going to walk directly on top of him, and Luna says, "G'day, I'm a piece on out now." Peeking on towards CCTV. She wants to rotate away, but she is spotted on that rotate as she jumps down into the open area.
It's one of the things that Mind Freak have been doing a lot. They're not really moving together. They're all like surrounding the building and like pushing in from their own angles, accompanied by drones. And if you don't drone out someone, there's no potential for a refrag at all. And you're 3v5 with 50 seconds to go.
Yeah, some of these drones have been ahead of their players, but also we've had players enter without them, such as Warden, which has been a concern. As you mentioned, no potential for a refrag. Ooh, that's a dangerous place to be exposed. Spruce knows it too, soaks up a bit of damage from the goo mine as it retreats upstairs. Shade once again, there's no drone ahead of him. He doesn't realize where the players could be. No, that's the wrong player. Shade, a terrible mistake, and now Luna punishes him for it. Avant finally make vents work for them.
Bit unfortunate on the team, Doge, but you can't really blame Shade too much there.
Yeah, you can.
He's fallen right in front of his face.
Yeah, but come on, you got to have some kind of spatial awareness, I reckon, knowing where your team is. If you see someone drop down, you got to... I mean, yeah, it wasn't great, but... yeah. Not sure what the idea was for the Twitch who jumped over. I believe it was a Warden or someone.
It was Spruce.
What was the idea there? All right, I don't... Did he not know that his teammate was, trying to hold that angle push down? I'm just going to vault on over here and make a whole bunch of noise.
My guess is they made the call that there was someone sitting right underneath the stairs.
And he decided to take matters into his own hands.
Yeah, he's like, right boys, YOLO.
Well, I don't think Spruce will be YOLOing too much this round as he does pick up the Blackbeard. An operator we expect to see on windows, on balconies, not actually in the thick of it.
So the thing is with Mindfreak is we're really not seeing like operators that they're picking up over and over again, right? Like Warden's changed over to the Ash. We've seen Spruce play a different operator literally every round.
Yeah.
It was first round, it wasn't Twitch. Second round it was Blitz. Third round it was the Twitch. What was the first round? I want to say
Blitz, you said, right?
No, it wasn't the Blitz in the first round. I know that for sure.
Not too sure then. I'm throwing some cameras outside. Decent amount of... Oh, okay, that ain't outside. Come on, mate. There you go. All right, that's a good intel. A good amount of intel if you make it work through there, but obviously a lot of time wasted in the round, so she's just going to return to her station to make sure there's no rush and so she can gather that intel off the mirror window. Looks like maybe for the first time Mindfreak will actually mount a CCTV push, which in my eyes is the right kind of decision.
Yeah, definitely. It is going to be hard to force all these players out from here, however. But,
Oh!
all right, Spruce has got Fisher guy's head.
You're relying on these kinds of mistakes, these kinds of rotations, or attempted rotations from the Avant players, and Spruce was in a perfect position to capitalize on that. It worked out perfectly. Now Shade as well. On this rappel, he has all kinds of angles into the bomb site. In fact, it's Spruce who finds the next kill. Avant not too hot of a position, however, that said, Mindfreak really needs to just drone out this CCTV area and get themselves inside, take that control and try to maintain it, because Avant's still roaming fairly freely at the moment.
Yeah, Avant really don't have much on site, and Vicious is going to find JCZ. You know, I was about to say that, all right, Luna.
All right, that's an angle and a half.
If Avant win this round, it's more of because Mindfreak are refusing to capitalize on it.
It's the problem. In a position such as a 5v3, you can't peek. Like, even JC on those windows, I don't think that you can really justify peeking that without any drone. If you have a drone specifically droning out the enemy players and making a call for you so you know where to shoot, maybe, but otherwise I really don't think you can justify doing that, because you'll get into these positions where these 1v1 gunfights are slipping away.
Much better off going for just a trade. Go for two people peeking them from, you know, similar angles. You can't shoot two at once.
These Legion Mines really
And
a difficulty for Spruce, and for some reason Shay decides to push solo. So it's interesting because Spruce was considering this Beepers push, and he went away and his teammate goes for it. He eventually goes for it as well and dies. Just Warden with the G36C. That is a beautiful skin and charm, but I don't think that'll make the difference, especially if he doesn't maintain control of half wall. Copper will peek up, take his head off.
You know, I was like, oh, he thinks someone's behind half wall. He's aware, but no, he was just trying to find the right angle for the vault. And once he's in, he just gets popped in the side of the head. You know, this is worrying signs here for Mindfreak. Avant looking very strong. So
we've hopped on a little bit about this lack of a refrag from Mindfreak. What is it that they are doing? What is it they're trying to do versus what they, in our opinion, is what they need to be doing? What do you feel?
They need to adopt the KISS principle.
Kiss your teammate.
Yeah, sure, Dev. No, keep it simple, stupid.
I was like, what? Are you saying that they should be so close to their teammates that they could kiss them? Is that what you're saying? Like,
no.
Stay close, stay within kissing distance, but no, keep it simple, stupid.
Yes.
I don't know. I think that may be a bit of simplification of what's going on.
No, but really, we're seeing them try and be too elaborate. Like, you know, they've got players all around the map, so many moving parts where, you know, they're not doing things like finding people in stupid corners or whatever, right? Like, they're trying to be too complex, and it's just not working out for them.
I think when something goes wrong for Mindfreak, there seems to be a bit of a lack of communication because they're not focusing on the same thing. We saw in that round, as I mentioned earlier, Spruce, he decides he's going to peek through short into Beepers, into that armory room. And then he decides better of it because he knows there's too many angles to contend with Fountain. But he'd already previously destroyed the mirror window facing into offices from Fountain, so he decides maybe I'll just push up through offices. But his teammate's still looking at Beepers. I think offices would have been a great push if they'd committed 2-3 players that direction in that 3 versus 3. It would have been completely doable for Mindfreak, especially because the Blackbeard can contest the angles and peek in, which is exactly what a Blackbeard excels at. Despite that, Mindfreak decided to have, I don't even know if it was a decision. They just had a disjointed push, and they, a little bit here, a little bit there, and one by one fell to the enemy.
Yeah, well, now we are seeing the Avant third choice of, I always forget this one, stockroom, storeroom, and the beacon.
Yeah, supply room and custom.
Custom, that's the word.
Yeah, I always get customs and open area mixed up. I have no idea why, but the two words just, for some reason...
I just can never remember the word custom. I always...
Yeah. And CCTV, I always call it CCTV. It confuses me to know it. I have no idea why. It's funny how brains work like that. So, control over office is established, and the rest of the top floor is next on the agenda, primarily Armory and then moving on into CCTV. That mirror window, looking through long from CCTV itself, being played by one of the Avant guys, that prevents any kind of real push through long hallways, so typically you'll try and take control of Armory and push in through there, which is what Mindfreak are attempting to do at the moment.
I'm Mindfreak convinced there's someone hiding in workshop?
The problem is, if you're convinced, then you should... Okay, wait, what? Is that full control at the top? I guess it is. All right. Still, those mirror windows are available. I'd probably be popping at least the one in Armory to prevent a flank from that direction.
It almost looked like Warden thought the bomb site was in ventilation workshop.
Oh, really?
I don't know. They're like, wait a minute, no, it's not. So
on, pop this mirror, Spruce.
They're just dodging C4s as JCZ's going to find the first one of the round on the Fisher guy. And there goes Luna as well. Shade, you know, he's going to win that duel every round.
His rotate is revealed, though, by that alibi device that he ran through. Vicious does finally do some work for Avant. 3 players left is still doable, especially on this bomb site.
Well, we saw it last round, didn't we? It was a 5-on-3 for Mindfreak, and then they lost a player, then they lost another, and you know, they just went off the rails there, as we are going to see Shade downed.
May well get revived without too much time. Yep, there you go. But 25 seconds left on the clock, and Avant are in a great position of being loose. Now, as long as they have some kind of denial of this plant, they should be set. But Bruce seems to be going very, very well. That's a full plant down now, and the tables have turned. Mindfreak, a numbers advantage in a post plant. You can see JC so cautious of all the runouts he's exposed to. He just wants to get safe.
Yeah, Mindfreak just have to play this super passively. Spruce is right in the bomb site, and it looks like Avant really aren't making moves at all. They need to start throwing bodies in towards it, but, you know, there we go. It's going to be missed shots there from Spruce, and Copper's going to come out on top. Got to be wary from above, and Copper might find Warden as well, but no, Vicious will instead. They're going to start going for this defuse any moment, causing a Shade to jump in. And it's just the 1-on-3 for JCZ. 1-on-2, 1-on-1 now. Nico, he's going to try and ninja this with no time there, and JCZ is going to successfully pull off the 1v3.
Is that the heart in your throat I can hear, Monkey Fist? Because that was an exciting end to the round. 4 versus 3 retake that was almost successful turned into a 3 versus 1 that was clutched by JC.
It was just non-stop, wasn't it?
No, oh my gosh. So, gotta commend Copper there. So, it's a difficult job for the Nomad who was holding inside a supply. Admittedly, she probably should have found the first kill, but that is not a great weapon to have when it comes to, you know, really close range engagements. Really slow fire rate
yep,
means that you're going to have trouble catching them. But, you know, Copper himself, he has a slow fire rate weapon as well. That's the 9mm, and he made it work. He's been performing incredibly well with that on Frost. And I mean, throughout the round, a great job at the end of it for that retake. I didn't think it was possible for Avant, but by the end of it, JC had what it took to do a 1 versus 3.
Interesting to see that Visha guy is yet to find the scoreboard. 3 assists.
It's funny, he's usually the one popping off.
Yeah, considering how much aim training he does, maybe he's been doing too much of that.
Yeah, whatever that application is, you can, if you go and follow him on Twitter, you'll see all of it. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be working out for him so far, at least.
That's because, like, only 10%, okay, maybe not 10%, 30, 40% of this game is only aim.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people, you know, you can have a good fragger, but a good fragger has a lot more than just aim. It's about placement, it's about knowledge, about game sense. That makes a lot more of a difference than aim. We even saw, for example, you know, some good peaks from, let's say, Shade on that CCTV hash. That, you know, it was good crosshair placement that got him that kill.
Yeah.
It wasn't good aim. It's a difference.
Well, we are into this next round, and we are back in Ventilation Room Workshop here for Avant, which, you know, they haven't been able to successfully... Oh, wait, sorry, they successfully defended it once. Yeah. And they've lost it once.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what to say about that, other than, you know, some strong individual plays a little bit, and things fell apart, I guess, for Mindfreak, but As we see this top floor take once again, it's reasonably slow. Thus far anyhow, 2 players inside of Armory as the drone goes in ahead of Warden. These pre-fires from Avant really have been working, and these alibi devices as well.
So good, aren't they?
It's a staple for Avant, and so many people say that alibi isn't viable in Pro League, but we can just see right now how useful they are for the defenders.
Like, they've just put them in positions that people are going to pre-fire or shoot in those areas, and they're going to be detected for, what, 5 ticks, and you know, it's really just going to cause them to not go to that area.
Worst case scenario, that's 5 seconds that the attacker has to just stop and not do anything. Best case scenario, we see a player such as Copper from Avant pre-fire them through a wall and get a kill, which we've also seen this game. All right.
There's Vicious, C4 kill.
Yeah, not too shabby stuff, but it's a refrag eventually and some good control taken for Mindfreak. Drones as well heading down to the bomb site, spotting out that some of the Avant players are indeed loose around the south side of the bomb site. Not sure where that happened for JC.
Through the floor, I think.
Okay, that's not something you see every day, but...
See that pulse down there is given the call-outs.
All right, I see. So this drone ahead will certainly help out Shade in a good position. However, he doesn't have the magazine size to really convincingly watch this angle while also taking down this barricade. You can see how concerned he is. There's a lot of angles in the drone spotting out some of these players, but I don't know if that pulse will peak. Vicious really shouldn't in this position. Shade's in a good playmaker position, but I'm not sure if he's prepared to take the steps necessary.
And look at the Avant setup as well. There's still 2 players over towards Customs. 1 player in Bathroom who's going to peek now, take him low. Spruce is going to go for the follow-up, and he's going to find that frag.
Finally, that camera taken out as well. Spruce 1, air jab remaining. JC finds Copper, just 2 left, but those Legion Mines doing so much work. Look at the HP on the Mindfreak players. Warden the only one up, but he closes it out with 2 final kills. And Mindfreak somehow steal away this attack.
Yeah, Legion Mine downs Shade.
Yeah, it's a big F. But
Avant had everything in that round to win it. It's just Mindfreak just won all the gunfights in the end there. Like, we had 3 players off site for Avant, ready to catch them as they start heading towards the bomb site, but no, it didn't happen. The players just ended up losing fights, and Mindfreak win the round.
Good information delivery from Mindfreak. So, for example, we saw from Shade's position, he had some idea that there was a player in Customs, a fairly common place to roam on this map on that bomb site. So he started pre-firing to that direction, started being cautious because he knew the angles were being contested back. Then the reposition of the person inside the bathroom was revealed to him as well. But
Should have got the kill though.
He should have got the kill, but he didn't die to it, which is, I think, decent enough of a job, because then that was relayed off to his teammates who managed to clean out Spruce, obviously, an entry into Bathroom. Fortunately for him, he won that gunfight because that was just a 1 versus 1. That could have gone the other way, in which case the entire round might have gone differently because Mindfreak hadn't dealt with that player inside of Bathroom.
See, what I like is that they were very quick to react to his presence in Bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things that I, like, you know, when you're talking about how Mindfreak, how they don't, like, react, I was thinking they're trying to react too fast, and that's to their detriment. But him reacting fast that time, I think it caught him on the reload. I think Copper was stuck reloading.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to win that gunfight if you don't even have bullets in it.
Problem is, you are taking a risk there.
Yes.
And it's possible to take less of a risk by sending in a second player after you or using your utility to get that kill. So, look, it was a risk, but it paid off for Mindfreak, and I think overall that round, I've got to also credit the that team play, that information game. It was rough there for a moment, but some good entries coupled with that team play worked out. Copper once again the first one to find a kill, but this time it's as he's attacking and playing Ash.
And it's onto the Maestro as well, so you're not going to zappy boy anyone as Nico's going to coconut JCZ.
Here we have it. Jaeger has been banned by Avant, and finally they can take advantage of that by using all of these projectiles. You can see 2 smokes and likely 6 flashbangs. There you have it from the Hibana and the Ash. And of course the Nomad charges as well as Nico's grenades. So much projectiles. Every single operator has something that could have been stopped by a Jaeger device.
Mindfreak are about to get abused, aren't they?
Oh yeah, and it really it comes down to, will Avant have the stones to make it happen? And it looks like with the initial frags, forcing Mindfreak to play more passively, that's exactly the position that Avant wants to be in, to use that utility aggressively onto them.
Oh yeah, but that was 45 seconds down, and Avant were already at a 5-on-3 advantage. This is another operator you and I were talking about that they use quite a lot here, Avant. Well, okay, never mind, Luna's dead. I was about to talk about the Dokkaebi. But C4 from Shade is going to send it to the sidelines for the rest of the round.
Yeah, and on top of that, Nico's out of his grenades. But look at this, a great timed drone. Nico managed to find one killer. Oh, what?
Hello.
Okay, all right. That's a good almost refrag. A C4 coming out! No!
A team kill with it!
Team kill! What is this communication? Spruce and Wings, what are you guys doing? And that leaves just Spruce himself in a 1 versus 3. And look, he might have won it before, but he's not going to win it this time. What is happening for Mind Freak?
That was... I don't know. I talked about football last night, but another phrase that goes around is schoolboy defending, and you know I think that might be applicable here because that was not great.
Bit of an own goal.
Yeah. That's 2 team kills down for Mind Freak this map.
Yeah, it's interesting because of course the first thing I want to do as soon as we're really critical of a player, you think, okay, but like let's put ourselves in their shoes. Would that be an okay position? There was a miscommunication there. A lot of it comes down to information. So
it did happen very quick.
It did happen very quick. So it would have been a cluster of the comms. But I guess one of the words that we use to describe this kind of team synergy that doesn't have words is cohesion.
Here's some good team synergy.
That's a bit better than last round, but yeah, so this cohesion, sometimes it's that, what can the teammates do to accomplish and work off of each other that is actually unsaid. And sometimes you don't have to communicate things because you know what your teammates are doing, and perhaps, I like, Spruce surely had seen that he had a defender downstairs. As he was tossing that C4 down, or did Wings maybe just drop down the hatch to go for a flank? These Mind Freak players, I mean, I'm speculating here, but maybe they're so eager to go for that action when there's a call. Okay, there's a player pushing up here. I need to be the one to make an action on this. That sometimes it's working to their detriment, and they're actually surprising their own teammates about what their teammate might do for their next action.
I think part of it was the fact that they are in a 5v3, right? And in one of those situations, you got to take risks. You got to play aggressive. You got to do what Copper's doing right now. Fisher guy's going to get the first one. Copper with his own. What is going on? They're in the bomb site. They're ready to go for the plant. Fisher guy's doing just that as Nico's in a great position as well. Shade is going to find Vicious, however, but Nico's going to trade him back. Plant down within 30 seconds. That's nuts. And it is just up to Chase CZ. 1v4, 1v3, but that's a blitz to the face. And Avant are going to pick up round number 8.
So there's this thing called team cohesion, and Avant have it right now. Yes, it's very simple when the team cohesion is, all right, we are going to storm through Armory Door, we're going to kill the main players, and then we're going to make it work. But you've got to point out everything that the Avant actually did to complement each other. The first player to hit a Legion Mine was actually outside. It was Fisho Guy, and as soon as he hit that, he hides back. He maybe was going to be one of the initial entries, but he hides back and another teammate takes his place. As soon as the Blitz receives a Legion Mine and can't force out the player from the lockers and half wall, another teammate peeks that angle and gets that fight for him. I got to admit, I was very, very surprised when Copper continued to aim down sight and take these long-range gunfights when he could have simply smoked it and played for the close range engagement with his shield in front of his face. But hey, it worked out, so I feel like I probably shouldn't be putting on too much flack to the guy who's currently 12-3 at the top of Avant.
Just casual 4 KD.
It's not something you see every day.
Chase CZ is really stepping up here for Mind Freak.
I mean, a lot of 1vXs he's been in,
yes.
And one of those 1vXs was a successful one, so credit to him.
Yeah, 1v3.
1v3. That last one, you know, I think we've said this before, Monkey. It's maybe harsh, but it's true. It doesn't matter how many kills you get in a 1vX as long as you win the round. And if you lose that round and if you get 4 kills in a 1v5 clutch and then you die, you didn't do anything that round.
Yeah, your kills mean nothing, really.
Because all that matters at the end of the day is that point on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Not the point next to your name in the kills.
Oh yeah, but 3-5 right now. Avant 1 round away from taking themselves to match point. And you can see that Mind Freak have decided, okay, let's not defend Armory again.
Yeah, interesting. That's a double win from Avant, and also it demonstrates their variability. So they did 2 different kinds of attacks. Both of them worked. So Mind Freak clearly thinking, all right, look, let's not even touch that. We don't know what else they got up their sleeves, and we're not really prepared to try and counter-strack all of their attack strategies. So we'll mix it up, go downstairs. It's also to Customs, which is much...
Oh,
okay. What a flick from Spruce! Oh my god, that's the primary fragger from Avant gone down. That was a nice shot, one that certainly shouldn't have happened.
When you're ready for it and you still lose the gunfight, it feels bad, man.
Man, I don't know how he managed that one. Did he, like, flick that? I wish we could have seen that from Spruce's perspective.
Wish we could have seen his mouse.
Yeah, my god. I think his wrist actually bends backwards now.
Well, that has been an early frag there for Mindfreak, and Spruce only took, I think, 1 bullet worth of damage there. He hit the headshot, and that's what gets you the kill. As they're going to try and make their way into break room. They do have a bit of presence up here with the phone calls going out and someone getting thrown around by the air jab. But it is just the one player on the leash, and behind it, he's going to default on out of there. Fisho's not aware just yet, and he wants to advance, even though he's still got that Goomon on his foot. Finally going to pull it out, however, and that is top floor control. There's only a minute, and they've got to be careful of these C4s from below.
Yeah, that hatch, though, has been opened, allowing a lot more angles we've seen to be fairly successful. Oh, that's a very poor timing cross for Nico, but he survives it. Not for much longer, however, and I don't know what was Luna doing. She was watching that exact position and somehow didn't find that kill. As she tries to sneak in, she'll find one player, take him out, but runs straight into a second one, gets the knife! Oh my god, Luna! JC, though, takes down Vicious. 2 players left for Avant. 1 point away from guaranteeing themselves a draw, but JC is not going to let it happen. 1 versus 3 for Fisho Guy.
Yeah, he's going to have to dig deep, especially with only 20 seconds on the clock, and he's not even looking in Wings' direction. Wings is going to mop up that kill, and that is Mindfreak putting themselves up to 4.
Good read from Mindfreak to choose defending customs. Certainly worked out for them. Mindfreak, sorry, Avant, what was going on there? You know, that peek up that main stairs, I thought Luna was covering that, and I mean, it's interesting because kind of when push came to shove and Avant were in a man deficit, it came down to a position where Luna decided, okay, I have to make a play, I have to enter into here. She probably should have died to that second player, but you know, she can find 2 kills and then die. It didn't make a difference in the overall result of the round because the rest of the team weren't in a position to capitalize on the kills that she'd got.
Yeah.
So she found those 2. Oh, okay, here's this Maestro device I mentioned during the
pre-game.
The pre-game. Quite like that one. Is that 2 deployable shields as well for the team? Is there another one, I think? Not too shabby. So we're seeing Mindfreak decide 2 losses on Armory. It's not enough to keep us away from it permanently.
The thing is, though, as well, is that in their second attempt, they didn't even have a chance to adapt because it's a completely different strategy from Avant. Like, are we going to see a third strategy this time? What, we got a Capitao, which we haven't seen for Avant yet.
Capitao and IQ instead of the Blitz, and
or the
Dokkaebi or the
Ash
as well. So nice mixing it up again. For Mindfreak, it's most the same. You know, we've got this mirror window, but we do have those Maestro cameras as well on the Armory side.
You know, we have seen a criminally low amount of thermite. Like,
we have. The problem is, with mirror in play, the ability to thermite on this map is really reduced a lot, especially the way that people hold Fountain, for example, these days. And you have to get really exposed. Let's say you want to thermite the office walls into archives. It's one of the only things you really can thermite against this setup. They can throw a C4 over the top and kill you. They could stand on top of the bookshelf and vault over and kill you. So you're much more exposed compared to playing a Hibana.
Well, what's Avant's plan here? Looks like they're rotating for an officer's take.
I also want to point out the fact that we're seeing an alibi taken by both these teams. It's not just Avant. And I wonder if that's something that Mindfreak usually do, or something where they've decided, all right, look how much of a hindrance it was in our attacks, we'll bring it out against Avant as well.
They seem to know how to use it, as Fisher Guy's going to try and hide behind this smoke. Oh, he almost gets the wall banging. Oh, he's going to see the player readjust their position as well, but no, they're going to get out of there scot-free, back to the bomb site. But Avant have cleared out this troublesome position. They just don't seem to be aware of it just yet.
In need of some information for Avant currently. Wow, it's a dangerous position that Warden is playing as well. Luna finds that entry that was needed. 4 players left on this defense. Wings actually admits that's a nice shot. Credit over to Luna. Nico on this rappel, there's a lot of positions you can negate from that rappel. as we do see that that opening of the wall into the bomb site. Avant's also aware of this pressure from officers. More and more kills. Warden as well jumping into the fray. Just 2 left for Avant.
Well, Avant looked like they were in the driver's seat, and suddenly Spruce goes, here's a C4, here's a bullet, and Warden's like, same. And suddenly they're in a 4-on-2 right now, Copper and Vicious, and you know, they really aren't in great positions to go for a plant at all.
The lack of the Capitals certainly be hurting, flushing out some of these positions, and peek there from Warden. Copper's keen to find it, but Warden eventually is successful. Vicious finds one. That's another with the ARX. Very small magazine, and Warden knows it. He continues the peek, and he secures the kill and the round. We're even Stevens. 5-5. Breakaway point time here on Border.
This is a lot closer than what I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, that's off to Mindfreak. When it matters, they have been making some strong plays that have saved rounds. And
yeah, so many rounds. They've just had those players just go, you know what, I'm, you know, flicking this player that I probably should die to.
Yeah, so, I mean, for example, you've got the that 1 versus 3 from Spruce. That's a round that was saved and it really shouldn't have gone their way. And you're in a position where it's 1st to 7, but at 6 points, you're hitting a draw. This is a really small number of rounds in the game. Every round really counts because you're working towards a spot in the APAC Pro League finals, potentially for the LAN spots, or you're just trying to avoid relegation. On the case of Mindfreak currently sitting at the final place on the Pro League standings.
Look at Avant. This time they're bringing out the Monty.
Okay.
Those strategies have just been so varied.
Yeah, I do like that. And it kind of is reflecting that what we were saying at the start about that support network that Avant do have. Having those 2 coaches along with you know, Avant as a whole, we've known them for a while to be a team that does like to bring things that are a bit different. They like to try new things, and I think that that's demonstrated in the fact that they always have a new strat that they haven't tried yet.
Looks like it might be potentially another fast play as well, as Fisher guy's going to be the first one in. There we go. He's going to bust right on into Customs. Aware of any potentials above him, but you know, just look how much ground they're gaining that's not contested because it's not where you'd normally enter into, and they might even find a frag for free of the player on the stairs there. In fact, Fisher is calling him out. It's going to be the peak there.
Oh no,
Gets
the second peak!
Copper's followed it up, and he goes for the pistol. What a shot! He's found Spruce as well. Suddenly, it's well, 3-on-4 as Luna's been downed and surely soon to be finished off there. But this has been aggressive. Nico with his own before Luna's down. So 2-on-4, aggressive and quick play. Wings is in fact going to double down over by Tellers. So this feels a lot more doable at the 2-on-3, especially when Warden almost gets the angle onto the Monty there.
Another issue here for Avant is the fact that they haven't cleared out the top floor. Wings and Warden, though, currently playing downstairs. It's a huge missed opportunity. I don't believe they know that Avant haven't got control of that top floor, because if they did know that, they could rotate up above and help to deny some of these plans. But now that Avant will be searching for this information, they can go and grab this top floor and start to assure themselves the possibility of a plan.
Minute 20 on the clock, and they've got the Monty. They can go for a plant pretty safely, especially if he's still got his smoke grenades up. And especially if Wings can throw his goo mines like that.
Yeah, no, the goo mines are... Oh, nice shot. I'm not sure how that was a headshot, but all right. Fisho does have the protection of that shield, as well as Copper holding the angle, but the plant goes down with the Montaigne and Copper. A dangerous position and still completely clutchable for Mindfreak, especially if Wings can find a Legion mine or two. What? He's going to go for this defuse. Surely this won't work. Both players are there. Where? Oh no, the denial of the counter defuse animation. Just Copper to find the last kill. And Avant guarantee themselves a draw at minimum and still on the cards for a win.
That was a great sacrifice there from the Monty. He's like, I'm just going to melee the guy who's counter defusing. And, you know, I don't care what happens after that. Copper clutch it out.
And, man, it was so close to that Monte dying or not being able to get that kill. It's so difficult. I feel like every time I'm unshielding it as a Montaigne, I'm crossing my fingers because there's a chance you will die, and it's not always up to you. you can do everything you possibly can, and the Maestro still might have found that kill, but an incredibly strong play from Fisho to be able to deny that counter defuse, give Copper an extra few seconds, and it was kind of like, all right, who's taking the shot? Fisho guy is the one that has to make this play, and if he's successful, then it relies on Copper making his play successful, and both of those players stepped up to the plate. And that's why Avant still have 3 points on the cards in this map.
Yep, the most they can, the most Mind Freak can get is 1, and this is a must-win round if that's what they want.
I mean, Mind Freak's sitting at the bottom at the moment. They really can't accept any more losses. Whereas for Avant, you know, they are a solid contender for some of those top places. They were up until yesterday in 4th position before Oddity overtook them. And we have, as we said in the past, Avant, we've seen them play fairly well against some of these top teams. You know, last season they had a victory over Fnatic. This season, a victory over August. More recently in the Cyber Game of Silver League, a victory over August as well. So it's still on the cards for Avant to get some of those top spots, but they need to be closing out games, not settling for a draw.
Why are these teams taking Kaid? Like, what's the plan behind his utility, like the strategy behind his utility?
Defending hatches, for one, on this particular site is my expectation. And the thing is, Avant don't bring a Thatcher. So Mindfreak bring a lot of Thatcher, so for Avant, the Kaid's not such a great pick, but in this case, maybe a bit more applicable. Fisher Guy's gathering a huge amount of information, but you can see he's really cautious of that angle over from CCTV. That's a bad nade from Nico. Unfortunate, because we've seen some very strong ones from him in the past as well. Fisher Guy actually about to waltz past, I believe, a pre-deployed Evil Eye device. Yep, there you go, he walks past it, he's spotted out. He could in fact be hit at from behind by that Maestro device right now as Avant take control of CCTV. Luna really cautious of C4s. And she does take out that goo mine. However, can't open the hatch just yet due to that Kaid.
Yep, the electric stick that's sticking to it. It's going to stop her from doing that. So it really feels like it just has to be a 2D push here. They can only push on the one plane. This top down isn't really going to be too helpful as JCZ is going to start off by finding the top fragger there for Avant. Copper. And he's going to have to rely on his team for the rest of this. He's going to get someone in the hallway here. Shade is going to find Nico completely unawares of his positioning. As Shade beautifully retook that top floor, and Fisher Guy has no idea where he is either. He's going to almost run right into him. No, he's going to have his back to him. There we go. Shade with the shotgun. He's going to find another one.
Shade's doing some serious work upstairs in the break room. A lot of oversights from Avant, but can you really blame him? Once again, an Avant player almost waltzing past someone from Mindfreak who capitalizes. And there you have it. That's GG. Spruce closes it out onto Luna. And we have a draw. Mindfreak and Avant, a neck-and-neck game from start to finish.
Of those last 4 rounds, Mindfreak won 3 of them. So, you know, they were able to claw it back rather impressively. But you know, neither of these teams are going to be happy with the draw.
Yeah, I do find it really interesting as well to see the site rotations that Mindfreak actually managed to win on 2 customs and 1 armory. So they only ever tried those 2 bomb sites, and armory was a really poor win rate for them. They lost it twice, won it just the once, but customs was consistently something that was working for them, even on that last round. And I find it really interesting because it's like Avant come to the table onto these armory attacks. They have something predetermined. They have several predetermined plans, and it works to perfection. But when it comes to these less played bomb sites, such as customs, Avant look a little bit lost.
Yeah, but that's the thing as well, because when you play a scrim, especially when you're a better team like Avant, you're normally going to be scrimming against teams that aren't as good. So they're going to defend armory a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're not going to get as much practice attacking these, you know, tertiary and secondary bomb sites.
So what, if you're scrimming and you want to attack customs, do you throw a couple rounds so that the defenders have to go onto it?
I don't know. I think that's more of a ranked kind of thing than anything. But yeah, like it is a stark contrast, isn't it? That, you know, they've got good attacks on, you know, the primary bomb site and not great attacks on the other ones. And, you know, Mindfreak are doing things like this where, what is it? It is Wings getting the kill, but then Spruce is killing Wings there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rough one to see that round. A couple of blunders from Mindfreak it's interesting. It was like when Mindfreak were doing really well, often it was on the back of big plays. When they were doing poorly, it was on the back of bad plays. When Avant were doing well, it was on the back of good team coordination. When they were doing poorly, it was because the teams didn't have really an idea of what they wanted to accomplish as a whole, and the players didn't know what their role in that was. So an interesting stark contrast, from my perspective at least, that despite all the differences between these two teams, they still end up with the same number of points each, going home with 1-1.
Yeah, definitely. That is a great point, Dev. I really like how you highlight that one. But yeah, I don't know. It really feels like, if you look at this from a purist perspective of how Siege is meant to be played, we saw some of the great stuff from Avant, but then Mindfreak just pull it out with those individual plays.
Yeah, impressive plays for sure from Mindfreak. We've got one more map coming up after this very short break. Don't go anywhere.
One-on-one, but they're getting aggressive on each other. Rizran wins it with the pistol!
Gonna see one as Cuties found the shot.
That bounces right. Oh no, that's a down member, but Magnet comes off you! Comes to Lusty, he finds one. Lusty finds a second!
Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo.
Hello guys, this is the Rainbow Six Pro League in ANZ. I'm DevMarter, Monkey Fist. We're back for another map.
Yes, we are. Map number 2 now. I'll go back to my research. Hopefully it's relevant this time.
All right, puts on an extra pair of glasses.
Research glasses. Yeah, another map to come up, and these teams are throwing curveballs, so I don't know where we're going.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, and I'm just going to reflect on what I said just a moment ago, which is we've got two teams which are really different. Avant's been playing really team, and their mistakes have often been because they don't have a direction as a team. Mindfreak has been a lot of good plays, and the bad plays have been causing them to lose rounds, and yet they're ending up in the same spot, neck and neck matches, 3-3 to each half, and a final with a draw.
Yeah, and as I was talking about you last night about the power of the ranked play style, it really can work at this level somehow.
Yeah, it's sometimes just making the play is what makes the difference. And I think that the key, and look, I don't want to get too meta right now, but the key for Siege is that you have to be able to have this this incredibly strong team and strategic style of play, but you also have to be able to know when it's more important to just focus on the basics of we have to get this kill, or I have to run in with what looks like no brain attached.
Yeah, well, that is how a lot of the players play. You just got to play with oozing confidence.
Yeah,
and
it comes into it. The confidence is a huge thing.
And yeah, it really does work to your advantage a lot of the time. But when it really comes down to the nitty gritty, you need both.
Yeah. So, as for the second map, so obviously double best of one. This is how the Pro League works. Every team plays every other team twice in The other regions, North America, EU, Latin America, they play once in the first half and once in the second half, but we just play both of them at the same time. It gives the teams a little bit of an extra chance to adapt between matches. So that's what we can see now. These guys have had a chance to experiment with each other's play styles on Border. Heading into the next map, they can keep that in the forefront of their mind. Perhaps a lot of the unpredictable things that Avant have been bringing out, such as their blitz strategies and their Jaeger bans, will be now a bit more predictable for Mindfreak, and maybe some of the strong plays that the individual Mindfreak players have been bringing out will now be a bit more predictable for Avant.
Yeah, but you know, you can't say, oh, they're going to go for an individual play. How do you counter that? Like,
well, you can expect the unexpected. I'm not even joking. You can play in such a way that you're expecting that there is a doorway there. There shouldn't be anyone playing there, but there might be someone playing there because that's the kind of player you're coming up against.
There's just too many variables, Dev.
Well, let's eliminate some of those variables and start looking at what maps we're going to be playing. Because,
good segue.
Yeah, I know, I'm the best. One map remaining between these two teams, another best of one. So it's not going to be Border, we know that much.
Okay, it's going to be Villa or Consulate.
All right, there you go, you heard the big man. Villa or Consulate, it's Border and Club are the default bans. So Club, as you mentioned earlier, Avant recently defeated Mindfreak 7-1. It's an impressive one. Villa straight out of the gates. So what did you say? Consulate then it's going to be, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
So Mindfreak don't want to play Villa. August already beat, Avant already beat August on that map in the season. Bank's not going to happen either. That's the most banned for Avant alongside Border. So
the thing is, right, is that, all right, going to Coastline.
Okay, there you go. So once again, Monkey is wrong.
Curveballs. You know, I was good last night.
No, you can see now. This isn't about, you know, you don't have your stats so that you can predict what's going to happen. You have the stats so you can explain why this happened in such a way.
So interesting enough is that Oregon has, you know, never been banned by Avant, but they haven't been able to play it at all.
Yeah, so once again, they're not getting to play it despite not banning it.
Yeah, and you know that's probably more to do with Kaid than anything,
yeah,
I reckon, especially with the impact it can have on the downstairs bomb site. But Coastline, they've banned it 4 times, but they've still played it twice, so it's something they're happy to play. But I'm just surprised that, you know, they chose it over something like Consulate, which, you know, they've never banned, and well, okay, they've only played it once, but
yeah. So we saw a Coastline yesterday with August and Dark-Sided. Pretty one-sided, but that was, I guess, just the theme of the night for August and Dark-Sided. So, you know, we've seen a bit of this already, but let's have a chat about, you know, what is Coastline. So we've got 4 viable bomb sites. We've got a lot of variety of play styles you can play. We know a lot of that kind of roaming works really well as well. That kind of play where your enemy isn't style that you've described to me in the past, and then go for the late flanks.
It's very similar to Border in shape and structure, and I don't think it's as similar in play style, but it's a smallish, compact map, 2 levels. You know, there is a circular part into the map, or like a way into the map in the middle of it, rather than having to go for the boring other entries. There's not a catwalk all the way around on Coastline. There is only the balcony on one side. Yeah. So it's very similar with like nuanced differences.
Yeah, you know what I got to say, something that is a similarity between Coastline and Border is that more recently we've seen more teams doing new things on these maps, often to do with opening up areas that we used to believe were spots that you would reinforce and that you would bunker down in. So for example, on Border we talked about Fountain.
Yep.
Now in the recent meta, I'm not saying super recent, but you know, it's been a little while now since people have started opening up Fountain. And they play a fluid game through L hallway, Fountain, offices, and CCTV. And we're seeing something a bit similar on some of these defenses on Coastline. So, for example, in VIP, you often see a rotate between VIP and Penthouse these days. It's something we've seen a lot of teams toy with, and even downstairs as well. Instead of actually reinforcing the kitchen wall, you open up the kitchen wall because they got a plant in there. You don't have to play inside there. All you have to do is deny them from planting in there.
Yeah, and you know, that's how we're seeing a lot of these maps start to get played. People, you know, stop thinking about, this is our objective, we just need a defender, and how can we, you know, fluidly defend them from planting. That's what you got to think of, rather than how do we stop them from taking this control.
You don't have to sit in the room to prevent them from planting in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is an interesting little bit of thing.
Although it doesn't mean play everyone off site and then
no, it doesn't. I mean, it's a complicated train of thought, and that's why we have these teams with their analysts, and these guys know what they're doing a lot better than a lot of other people who, you know, maybe play a bit more of a simplified game. So, you know, these guys are the ones that will show us the best strats.
Yeah, they are playing at the top level. And, you know, we're going to see some more of that action here on Coastline. You don't mind a little bit of a Ibiza action, if I've pronounced that correctly?
I don't even know what you're trying to pronounce, but I wouldn't
Ibiza. It's how you say it in Spanish.
Oh, okay.
You kind of make your Z a TH sound.
Okay.
Because that's where this...
Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind heading to the beach. Wouldn't mind
Spanish coast.
driving the Lamborghini doorway through the lobby. Something like that. All right, ban. So as we mentioned, Wind Bastion's still in there, so Nomad on the cards for a ban, but it's actually Thatcher taken off the table. Avant like banning Thatcher. It's been something they've toyed with a bunch in the past, and it's something Avant seem to really put their bans in pairs. And they have a specific purpose for a lot. So let's say
they synergize.
Yeah, they do. So like Ying Jaeger on, oh my god, that actually rolls off the tongue. Ying Jaeger on Border. Whereas Mindfreak just kind of banning away what they did last time in the Glaz. I wouldn't be surprised to see an Echo again, which is what they got rid of last time. So I wouldn't be surprised, you know, that Thatcher ban, maybe it's a signal that they want to play a bit of Kaid.
Yeah, so what is the defender that Avant are going to ban, however, to pair with Thatcher?
Now this is Mindfreak first.
Yeah.
Echo.
Echo, as you said.
Yeah, there you go. And then, yeah, next up. I don't know. I'm not sure if it necessarily has to pair, but I guess the idea that they might want to play Kaid does pair with the Thatcher. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something unrelated to that Thatcher ban. I wouldn't be surprised if they decide they don't want to play with Miro or Maestro or Roma. There you go, Maestro. So just one of those heavy anchors. So no Echo, no Maestro, both of those guys off the cards. I expect, in terms of anchoring play, it'll usually probably revolve around Mirror Windows.
You know, Mindfreak have gone to the Norengo school of operator banning.
Glaz and Echo, that is what Norengo do. Yeah.
Permanently ban every round. That's what they've done this map and the previous map. As they are going to start off on Kitchen here, Avant. And looks like we've got Nico out and Flossie in. I'm guessing he was hurrying home from work or something or other.
Yeah, Nico is a sub.
Yes.
For Avant. Great content creator as well, but Flossie, these five that you're seeing right now are the core roster.
We didn't really mention that as to why it came down to 6-6 as well. Like, could that have been a reason, perhaps?
Difficult to say, because I'd say Nico had a pretty decent performance, but again, it is kind of difficult to kind of pinpoint exactly the one-to-one translation. For example, you know, Flossie is playing Jaeger, and he often plays, you know, very frag-related operators and frag-related roles, whereas Nico, not specifically a fragger, he's a player known for using his creativity to, you know, flush out positions and get kills.
Yeah.
His angles and his grenades and such.
Map knowledge, wall bangs.
Yeah. Not specifically, I'm going to be a Jaeger man, I'm going to play your Ashe or your Zephyr, etc.
Which looks like where Flossie's going to be slotting in. So what was Nico? He was on Legion and
Buck, typically.
And Buck, yeah.
So, with Avant starting off on the defense, should be a nice, comfy start for them. That said, you know, attacks have been fairly strong on Coastline historically. A lot of the time it comes down to the bans on this map as to whether it's going to be attacker or defender sided, and I think that with no Echo or Maestro, this should come down a lot to some good roam game.
Yeah, I'm interested as to what Mindfreak have gone for the Blitz for.
It's difficult to pinpoint. Maybe it's just that they want a bit more oomph to their push. They need a bit more something to, you know, make the difference on these entries, and that Blitz is something that can help out. There are a lot of long hallways where the Blitz struggles, but there's also a lot of closed encounters that you can utilize him on, and coupled with some smoke grenades, he can certainly have an impact. We saw those mute jammers preventing a lot of information from being gathered inside of the master bedroom as well, which does stilt out the Mindfreak attack somewhat.
Yeah, Warden's in here now. Quick pop of the mirror window. So they're starting to put pressure on nice and early here, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're ready to go for the plant very soon. That's both mirrors gone.
Very, very clean. We hear that pistol from Spruce ringing out elsewhere as well. Warden pincing up this floor. Spots out one player, lands a shot or two, but Flossie survives it. Fisher Guy's the first to fall. There's a retaliation, however, and that's all going down on these blue stairs, so perhaps potential rotation was just being seeked by the Avant players, and Mindfreak attempted to stop that. I'm glad to see we did get a refrag, but Warden decides that he's got some work to do and he can't continue watching these stairs forever.
Copper is very lit, however. There was the nade that chased him back. I think it did a bit more damage as well. as Vicious is going to go down through the floor to Warden, and Luna is going to refrag immediately.
2 roamers as well. Luna just playing the evasive game at the moment. Copper knows he has to make a difference on this flank, but it's a dangerous position for Warden. That's a huge misplay from Copper. Not what we'd expect from the guy going above 12 kills in the previous map. All 3 defenders incredibly low. In fact, Flossie appears to be down on the floor.
And Luna as well, so it is all up to Copper here, trying to retake on very low HP. We're just going to see Spruce just pick up those 2 downed operators. Copper going to have to try and clutch this one out, 1 on 3.
Time to redeem himself for those missed shots earlier. An impact grenade might go in just the right position, but he doesn't have the information he needs, and he knows it. Jumping out here ain't going to help him much, but he'll try it anyway. This is likely the end of the road. Fully detected. Outside, just having a bit of fun now. Trust me, that ain't a hologram. That's a real alibi.
And Warden shuts him down.
So, a good start for Mindfreak, and I've got to say that Blitz did seem to do the job. We didn't see a lot of what the Blitz was actually doing, clearing those roamers, but Blitz and Warden together. I guess the strategy was fairly simple. It was a lot of flushing out these roamers, taking control of that top floor, preventing those rotations back upstairs. And Avant had some teeth, but Mindfreak certainly had the bigger ones.
Yeah, and how differently would that round have gone if Copper had got that kill onto Warden up top? One he should have got. Like, he really should have got that kill.
Yeah, I think that would have made a huge difference, because with all those holes open above, Copper would have potentially been able to open up the, deny that plant. He had an impact grenade remaining as well, which could have helped out with that. So many flank opportunities, and it's likely that his teammates probably would have died regardless, but certainly would have been a playmaking, a much more doable playmaking position.
Well, gone for bars this time, Devmata.
Yeah, a bit of a free roam. Interesting, going for both of the downstairs bomb sites first up. Avant obviously did have the option to retry kitchen, but on a map where you have 4 viable bomb sites, most teams, well, plenty of teams would rather just mix it up if they're feeling fairly confident on another bomb site. A lot of the times, oh, okay, Copper finds a nice peak nice and early, so that's a little bit of redemption for his miss earlier. As I was saying, on this map, I really feel like you shouldn't be, for the most part, obviously you need to get to your bomb site defenses up to a certain standard before you can apply this, but I think this is where you should be at eventually. You shouldn't be picking your bomb site by, oh, this is our favorite bomb site on this map. You should be thinking, what is the enemy team's least favorite bomb site to attack? What is the one that we know them the best? That should be your favorite bomb site versus any team, because each individual bomb site pretty close to equally viable. It's all about knowing your enemy and knowing how they will take it.
Well, that is an interesting way of looking at it. Devis Shade is going to get shut down there by Fisher Guy. For a little sweat hole.
I don't understand what Shade was doing too. That's such a predictable angle. He just walked right into it. Instead, there is a bit of damage done back onto Avant, with one player gone down in the smoke, attempting to deny these sweat holes. Not sure if it'll have good coverage. In fact, it doesn't seem to. And yeah, he didn't drone out behind the bar. Another very common spot. Spruce is punished, and that's Kit down inside a pool.
Mindfreak just trying to get ahead of themselves too much, because that's what it feels like half the deaths they're having are coming from. They're just trying to respond too quickly to things that are happening in the round, and they're dying from it.
What was the idea from Spruce there? All right, I'm going to push in through pool, assume that the entire pool room is clear, and then I'm going to walk up to this wall that I can't really do anything, and then try and kill the player who I know is on the other side of it. Dancing with death here. Fisher Guy was low on HP and eventually finished off. I'm surprised he won that, but a good job just leaving JC.
1v3. He's going to have to pull off something nuts for that to be successful. But
hey, we saw it last map.
Yeah, we did, but he had plant down.
Yeah, very true. It's a very different scenario.
It is a very different scenario.
Well, the kit's down. It's just not activated. So he's got to go pick that up. 36 seconds to go. Some angles being opened up through the floor as well. The defenders to use. There's a great big hole behind JC right now. Probably making a lot of noise above this hatch. I don't know if he's been spotted. A C4 just thrown wildly, no longer has the diffuser, so he'll have to take 3 gunfights. Yeah, that's done. You know, that's the end of the round, really. 15 seconds, not much JC can do.
Yeah, he's going to grab the kit, but 10 seconds, no chance of planting it without getting denied, you know. Surely, yeah, there we go, done. Done and dusted as Avant do pull out their first round after losing their first.
So, you know what's really funny about that is, like I said, it's not like that was a particularly amazing defense from Avant. That was just, no offense, you know, a really lackluster attack from Mindfreak. First up, it's a free kill for Avant as a player sprints in through Aquarium into a common angle inside of...
First kill is a spawn pick.
Okay, first kill is a spawn pick, so, you know, have what you will about that. The second kill is a freebie from a mistake from the Hibana player. And then the third kill is Blitz thinking, well, okay, my teammate just died from a player inside a hookah behind a wall that I can't actually, you know, really do much through because I have a pistol and a shield.
I'm just going to sprint towards it.
I'm going to sprint up to that wall. I'll smoke it and then sprint up to it and get shot from behind because we didn't actually clear that position behind the bar, which is another very common position. And to me, that's saying that Mindfreak at a whole were on a loss on that bomb site. It's kind of harking back to what I was saying before. Avant don't have to be the best at defending it. It just has to be a situation that Mindfreak's not so comfortable attacking it.
Yeah, we're going to see a clash come out here now, Dev.
Love to see it. Fisho's really strong with a lot of these high fire rate, high recoil guns, such as the SMG-12, so wouldn't be surprised to see him do pretty well with this SP-SMG.
9.
Thank you for clarifying that. I wasn't even reading the thing.
Well, it could be the SPS-MG1, the SPS-MG2.
the 3, the 4, all the way up. No, this is the 9th version. I expect it's actually because it's probably running 9 now. But
I just wanted to childishly one-up you.
Yeah, that's what we're all about here on the Rainbow Six ANZ stream.
Yeah. But this is quick here from Spruce, entering into Sunrise. 1 drone ahead of him, of course.
Live droning a blitz is always a scary thing for the defenders. You see that drone and you're expecting to, you know, be taking a gunfight in just a moment, but no, you're actually coming up against the blitz. He's looking to close the distance.
This has been reasonably fast, though, from Mindfreak, gaining control of the west-hand side of the map, but no one is really defending it here from Avant. They're very anchorish style, I suppose.
Playing evasive, at least, at the moment. There's 2 players inside of theater, a lot near VIP. I expect that's what the Clash's job is, to assist a player moving around that VIP area and deciding which gunfights to take. But so far, Mindfreak seem to be going for this south side push, potentially to open up that that wall into theater, assuming they can get rid of the bandit batteries.
Well, there is the Thatcher ban there, Dev, so it is going to be very difficult. In fact, they're going to have to nade it. Nade does not go far enough there. And we've still got Fisho alive from it.
It's the nade just to kill the Clash, because Fisho guy can fairly comfortably dodge that and then head back into the hallway. No more grenades left, and Blitz's health whittling away. We know how important health is for a Blitz. There's only really a 2 armor. So, especially shots to the leg damage him very, very quickly.
Fisho guy getting very aggressive in the hallway, but okay, it looks like they've gone below to clear out those bandits or Cade batteries. JCZ is also going to find Vicious elsewhere on the map. It's going to put the man advantage in the flavor as Flossie. Wow, what a shot.
Good position up from L, but he's very exposed, and he is taken out eventually by Warden peeking from the other side. Shade's a dead man here. The Clash finishing him off. Doesn't even need really to finish him, but wow, okay. Warden takes advantage of that exposed position from Fisho guy and revives his teammate. This is really a blunder from Fisho, but 2 players from Avant can still salvage it. Luna looks to be the woman for the job. Just 1 player left on the attack. It's Warden. We know how good he is, but he has to find 2 with 15 seconds. Entering in with the SMG-11. His first victim is Luna, who he finds in the head. Just 1 player left, all up to Copper. Surely he won't peek this. Warden has no idea where he is, but Copper peeks just in time, cleans up Warden. And that's the round for Avant.
I really don't have much to say about that round. It was pretty unremarkable.
Really?
Don't you reckon? Like, it's...
I think that there was, you know, little mistakes.
Some interesting interplay between the operators, but it kind of went as you'd expect it, like a trade back and forth here, back and forth there.
So I guess it was for Mindfreak, all right, let's take from theater side, let's open up this wall. Oh no, there's a Kaid battery on it. How do we deal with that? IQ goes below, takes it out, nice and simple. There's a Clash who keeps peeking us, and it's damn annoying. So we really want to get rid of that. Let's try and do some nades. Nades don't work. The Clash ends up having a huge impact and helping with the Jaeger to peek on through. Then by the end of it, the Clash gets a little bit complacent, and I think the Clash was worried about, you know, how am I going to finish off this down player, and that led to him, you know, having his back turned to Warden, who takes him out. Good individual players from Warden was almost enough, but just not quite there to take out the rest of the Avant players.
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose it just wasn't any flashy plays like we've been seeing from the Mindfreak guys, and
yeah,
it was just
got to credit Warden. You know, he really shouldn't have even got that first kill.
Warden had a good round, didn't he?
Yeah, he's currently top scoring for Mindfreak at the moment. As we see Hookah brought out for the first time.
Sorry, interrupt you just 1 second. He got spawn peaked 1 round, so that is after only really playing 2 rounds.
That's pretty impressive. I believe that round just there then was about a 3K. So Castle on Hookah as well. I wonder if one of those is on that Hookah north-facing balcony window, because that really does provide an avenue for the attackers to look all the way into the bomb site if they do rappel up there, or they sit up on the sail, which we've seen used to an incredibly abusive effect. I wonder where those castle barricades will be utilized predominantly.
See, what I'm seeing from Mindfreak here is they're playing a lot simpler. They're not all so spread out. They're all working together, which is, you know, what we really didn't see much of on Border. And we're going to see Warden find Fisher guy. Where was that?
I'm not quite sure where that was, but it's a good player taken down early. Looks like he's entering in solo on the opposite side of the map. I've seen Avant, particularly Fisho, roam on this place a lot before in their previous matches, so maybe Warden was kind of aware of that, having watched some of Avant's previous matches, because the mute jamming is meant to deny the intel, but if you've seen Avant do it in a VOD before, then you kind of know what they're going for anyway. Interesting is that we have this default position where you want to put your Hibana pellets on that VIP wall, and holes open up below. I believe the defenders intended to destroy any Hibana pellets, but yeah, looks like Mindfreak were completely aware of that.
Yeah, they shut that down pretty quickly, and they also gained control of downstairs. So there's no more of that happening. Avant are just getting slowly pushed back, although we are going to hear some Hibana pellets destroyed as Spruce takes a few impact nades to the face.
Ooh,
C4's
a lot of damage.
Oh, he's so lit. There we go. He's finally down and finished off there by Luna.
That's really good.
No trade either. They had a player on the stairs with him. Warden, he's got this kill for free. Copper trying to peek too aggressively outside.
It was a really good job from the two Avant players harassing that blitz. They did not leave him alone until he was dead. What a peek from Vicious. Somehow Warden would have seen his shoulder first. I think he wanted to retake this area, and now he's got all the intel he could possibly want onto the player pushing from Aquarium hallway, but he loses the fight on the back of that Zofia charge. Shade as well jumping into the fray, so just Luna who's revealed her position now. 1 versus 2 is completely doable.
Yeah, Plant going down, but Luna has to be worried about the one on the Hookah balcony. Goes for the peek, gets the kill, gets the down. Gonna finish it off for the stat pad, of course, but 1v2 on the retake. JCZ is lit and Shades at just over 2/3. But this is gonna be a tough ask here for Luna. Shade's gonna peek onto her first and decide to fall on back, so she knows where he is for now. Goes for another peek and Shade wins that one. This has been a very back and forth matchup here now, hasn't it, Dev?
Yeah, and we've rounded out in 4 rounds, all 4 bomb sites as well. Shows Avant's willingness to mix things up, and seems to be sometimes it's working and sometimes it's not. We're hitting 2 and 2 on the scoreboard.
Bit adventurous from Avant.
Yeah, I like it. You know me. I love seeing that kind of
it
new
seems
stuff
like
every time.
They're just not sticking the landing half the time.
Yeah, I mean, it was some good plays. For example, they completely harassed, destroyed that blitz down on those stairs, but they let Warden slip through their fingers into Aquarium, and they only traded 1 for 1 in that position.
Well, back to kitchen they go. Now, if I recall correctly, it was a 1-on-3 for Copper, and he decides to run outside and die.
Yeah, well, don't really blame him. So
Is that some like edgy millennium humor?
no. let's move on, please. So that, yeah, like you said, last time wasn't so great for Avant on this defense, and they don't really have a choice. They can't go back to. Actually, no, they would be able to go back to bars by now. So interesting that they're not going back to bars, which was a bomb site that they won. They're going back to kitchen, which they lost in the first round.
I think they were going to play this bomb site anyway, no matter what happens in the next round.
Oh no!
Copper.
Yeah, that was very risky, and a good job from Shade to put himself in a position to punish that.
Yeah, they were going to play this bomb site anyway, right? Like where they went to bars and they lost it, they were going to switch it. When they went to bar and won it, they would have switched it and they would have ended up here. So maybe they were trying to be more unpredictable in the meta game.
That's fair. No, I hadn't thought of that. Oh, look at that. Hot dropping a drone. Isn't that just beautiful?
Next level tactics.
Yeah, that saves you precisely 0.45 milliseconds. So it's very
Every
strategic.
millisecond counts, Dev.
That's right, because of course we only have 2, and then the large number of zeros milliseconds remaining, approximately. It's actually wrong because that's minutes, not seconds anyway. All right, is top floor control doing well? I like this. All right, so good job from Wings clearing out a lot of this stuff. Eventually he gets pinged out. That's the most frustrating thing, when you finally destroy a Prisma but also get spotted. So he's taken out a lot of that utility downstairs, and he's cautious of this flank upstairs as well. If you recall, last time Avant attempted a retake from those blue stairs, Mindfreak found 1 pick out of it. Avant traded 1 back. We've seen good trades from Avant, but it tends to be that they trade 1 back and then they get traded back again, which is actually a net loss. It's 1 for 2. Happened last round, and it might happen again. Warden, though, finds the 2nd pick for his team. Flossy going down. Avant really haven't done so great this round thus far.
Yeah, Warden's having a monster game, isn't he? He's gotten just so many frags. Of course, he's lit right now, but still in it.
Opening up this floor worked wonders for him previously as well. So he is finally taken out through that floor, so I guess I'll eat my words there as Warden ate a bullet. A couple players fights back and forth. Fisher guy trading back Wings, who took down his teammate. Oh, is that Luna down the hallway? Reveals her position by shooting some bullets the way of Spruce. He's now very cautious of it and called JC over to help out, who deals swiftly with Fisher guy. Just Luna left.
Locked all the way out of the bomb site, and they know where she is as well. So this is going to be a tough ask for her. She's going to see the one over in the courtyard, but oh, is that okay? Not a down. I thought it was a down, but a lot of damage. That's for sure. And JCZ to finish it off. Mindfreak are going to take the lead.
That was a nasty shot. Mindfreak looking so much better here on map 2 than what we saw of them previously.
I can't even see Luna in that kill cam.
Yeah, that's a tree that you can shoot through apparently.
Well, Mindfreak, did you just say they suddenly don't look lost?
Yeah, well, they just
found their
map
way.
number 1, they were really, I felt like when they were getting their rounds, it was a roll of the dice, and they were landing 6s. But here on map number 2, things have been a lot more consistent for them, and look, I know it's only 1 round of difference right now, but they seem to be a lot more structured on their attack, and I think maybe that comes down to the map itself. We've talked before, and this is a map that is easier to attack in some ways compared to. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm generalizing there a bit too much.
They are being very methodical and swift about doing simple things, whereas on Border, it looked like they were trying to be fast and doing a million things at once.
Yeah, trying to be a bit more complicated, because Border is a map that's been, played to death. Everyone knows the strategies on Border, so Avant started whipping out on defense some more interesting and far-fetched strategies, and Mindfreak tried to be interesting and far-fetched in their own way to counter that. It was actually the opposite that works in a Mindfreak playstyle.
Yeah, Mindfreak rely on these players, these big-name players stepping up with those big-name plays. Look at the destruction there.
Yeah, that shotgun is nasty. You can't see this, guys, but every single time we say that, we are doing air quotes. It's a beautiful moment.
It does perfectly describe the no, just the DMR.
Yeah, it's a good DMR.
The slug shotgun. Slug gun.
Doesn't quite roll off the tongue.
Slug gun.
No, it really doesn't.
See, whenever I hear the word slug gun, I just think of the little pellets rather than the massive bullet that slug gun is shooting out.
Yeah. Oh no, you can't. What are you doing, Spruce?
If you get on the stairs,
Yeah, but
get
with a
the
pistol.
angle.
No way. Get out of here. No way does this work. He lands a shot. My goodness, no way. All right. You know, you could be doing it with someone with a rifle, but Spruce is keen.
Almost got there, but Fisher's just going to take a bit of a health loss instead. As wow, we're getting Avant forced right back here.
Mindfreak seem to be doing the exact same push they did previously, but they're making better time of it, and Shade finds the first kill onto Luna, who's the one who made the big play at the end of the previous defense on this bomb site, which was eventually an Avant win. We're at Penthouse, and Spruce can gather all kinds of information, but that's returned by Fisho Guy, who's staring him down. Last time Fisho Guy died, it was because he got too overzealous on this push and punished as he exposed his backside. Oh! Speaking of exposure, Copper takes the risk and it doesn't pay off. That man is hit and miss, but Warden, he's all hit tonight.
Guess he never missed, huh?
I'm just going to pretend I didn't hear that. That's a flashbang from Shade. Looking to deal with this clash finally, but it's a bit difficult to finally cut it.
Yeah, Clash is causing them all kinds of issues, but Fisher
my God!
He's still alive somehow, but not for long. And at the end of that sequence, it is a 5-on-1. Flossie with a lot to do here. He has not denied the plant, as that's confirmed, and Warden to clean him on up. Mindfreak with a 4-2 half on the first one on Coastline here.
And isn't Fisho Guy just an absolute ballerina? How many twirls did he do there with
diva.
That was insane. I loved it. It was like we kind of saw it from a few different perspectives. He was just going round and round and round. For those who don't know, when Clash switches to their guns so they can actually shoot people, their shield goes onto their back. And so you can kind of dodge a couple bullets using the shield if you spin around. But clearly it didn't work out this time for Fisho.
Bit unfortunate, but you know, I've been impressed with Mindfreak on this one.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you there. Look, it is only a 4-2 half, and you know, it might be... This is the exact same scoreline we saw out of August yesterday on their attacking half, and they ended up taking a fairly confident one. So, I mean, yeah, we may say historically this is one of the more attacker-favored maps in the map pool compared to the predominantly defensive-favored map pool. I still, I'd like to say credit to Mindfreak, but also don't count Avant out just yet on these attacks.
Yeah, what have they got planned for us? Let's take a look at this operator lineup. Alright, so we are seeing a lot of Nomad play, aren't we?
Well, not so much from Mindfreak, you know, not every round, and I don't think it's been impactful pretty much at all, but for Avant, yeah, for sure. Spruce did get detected on that run out, so it would have spotted out that there is an unidentified enemy due to the fact that the...
Oh, that was close.
Yeah, so, moving forward with Avant's push, looks like Luna may be the first point of contention, and just as we saw from Avant on the early Penthouse defense, there is a presence from the defenders near Theatre, which Buck will have to deal with. What is she intending to do here? Cut off a rotate through Aqua Hallway. All right.
And Wings will find Fisher Guy.
Oh, that was a
no,
missed
Vicious.
shot. What an opportunity from Vicious, but finally Flossie makes good on that one. Good repel here. Lots of eyes into the bomb site. But you can get much better full eyes onto that room if you go above. It's interesting to see everyone plays the ARX. Almost everyone.
Have Avant just changed totally what they planned on doing? They're like, all right, we're going to take from, you know, VIP Penthouse area, but now they've decided, no, let's just try and brute force our way into the bomb site.
I think you might be right
Which
there.
might work, because they've still got 2 people off site here, Mindfreak.
Yeah, Hookah seems to be the focus, and now a player repelling on double window. The main thing here is you need to make sure you're covering all of these runouts that Copper is exposed to, whether it's Sunrise and Office itself, Aquarium even. Doesn't look like Mindfreak are in a position to make those plays currently, however.
Well, minute 15 on the clock, and surely Avant have the info that there's only the one player in the bomb site, and Warden's going to land those shots, and he goes for another one. Warden doubling down there, goes for the C4 expecting another one, but no, he's put his team into a very advantageous position to win this round. Especially seeing as Flossie's gone down, and it's just Vicious in the 1-on-4.
All the information being gained, I assume, by Warden's Valkyrie cameras. We heard some pings, and Vicious again being pinged out. Warden just sprays him down through the wall. What an absolute monster this game.
Animal. He's really feeling it. So, Mindfreak one away from match point. You know, coming into this one, I was a bit like, yeah, Avant should probably have this one easy. They beat this team 7-1 the other day, but no, Mindfreak, they're looking good here.
Avant got to be kicking themselves for taking it to this map, and yeah, it's only a 3-round differential at the moment, but it's certainly better than what we'd expected from Mindfreak, like you said. So I think Avant need to... They got to feel the pressure at the moment. They're whipping out Montaigne, which worked for them reasonably well on map number 1. It's Fisher who takes the mantle, and my goodness, 14 kills for Warden. The next player less than half of that on 6.
2 kills per round.
Yeah, average of 2 kills a round, and that's a plus 10 KD.
Absolute monster coastline so far here from Warden.
And it's really because Warden's been making a lot of good plays. On his attack, he had confidence to do the simple, basic, and mandatory stuff for the team. Whether it was opening up the floor and peeking and taking gunfights, he was comfortable doing that. He won some, he lost some. Whether it was making an entry into the bomb site in a desperate situation, he was comfortable doing that. He won some and he lost some. And whether it was running out, getting it 2K with Valkyrie based on information that he has prepared for himself with his cameras, he'll do that, and he'll make it work.
Right, well, Avant very quickly entering in through Hookah. Drones buzzing ahead here of Fisher guy on the Monty. He's going to see that deployable shield, so he can relay that information out.
The drone is ready to go.
Nice, I
Is that
like
a
that.
flank watch drone?
Yeah, it is. One of the things I've always liked about Avant is that I feel like when they move as a team, you know, when you see them moving with their drones and their players together, they look so in sync. I don't know if they have more chemistry than most other teams, but they always look so in sync. I believe that's an ADS. Oops. Okay, they look in sync and still they start to shoot each other, which does happen every now and then. Oh, Copper, don't.
Toxic, because Luna is going to find Wings, however. Nice shot from Wings once again. And Vicious under Shade as well, so great start here.
Oh no, that's a team flash.
It seems like they do good than they do bad here, Avant.
As soon as you give them a compliment, they don't know what they're doing. All right. Is that ADS chewed up yet? That's the real question.
No.
Oh my god.
But it doesn't matter, because they're in a 2-on-5.
And nice shot, nice shot, nice shot. All of Mindfreak seem to be falling to some nice shots from Avant. 2-on-5, it's a reverse of the current round scoreline, but Warden's still alive, so, you know, anything's happened. There's 14 kills at the moment, looking for another one. Pad out his KD even more. Meanwhile, Spruce gathering some information, holding down on the theater site. He's waiting. Warden prepared to make this flank.
He's put himself in a playmaker position. He can come up huge if he times his movement right.
This is a 2 versus 5 that is possible. You can see JC and Warden both confident on their peaks. JC has a lot of rotation ability. Warden trapped in a corner waiting and hoping that he won't be droned out so that he can make the big play that he wishes to. Warden is relying hugely on JC right now.
Oh, he's been discovered, but JC's going to find one, and so is Warden. Going to see JC with another one, putting this suddenly into a 2-on-2 from a 5-on-2. Warden still hasn't been punished from his position, although he's about to be.
There's a player on the
we've
window.
got Vicious! Vicious, surely you should be finding this kill right now. He's not even looking at you. There we go. Fisher got to get it. Now he's going to go for the plant. So JCZ has to try and retake here. He knows that the Nomads come on inside. Goes for the quick peek, can't find the shots. Or has he?
Oh! 1 versus 1 at Montaigne, but JC has so much work ahead of him. It's an impossible task, typically, to kill a Montagne in this position without a Leisure Mine or a Smoke Babe. What can JC do? No way! You can't make this happen, JC. That's not meant to happen. There's still plenty of time to make this work, but he has to go for a reload. Whips out the shotgun. That's a risky position. And Fisho Guy guarantees the win. Avant, finally, after several rounds consecutively, since round number 3, they haven't picked one up, and finally, they get back in the game.
Wow. This was a very exciting round right there. 5-on-2, and comes down to the 1-on-1. Warden coming up huge. JCZ actually probably doing more in that round than what Warden did. And
that's really interesting to me. In a 2 versus 5, Warden's idea was, I'm going to hide here and wait for them to get into a position where they won't know I'm here, and I can flank, and I can shoot them in the side. Whereas Bruce is like that. Sorry, JC, they know he's there, and he has a lot of rotation. There's a real contrast between the 2 remaining players on Mindfreak, but both of them played differently, and both of them did their job so well. Add to that a little bit of good aim, and it'll make it work for you.
Yeah, well, you know, to be honest, things aren't looking too great for Avant now. As, you know, 2 attack rounds. They've lost the first one, and that one they almost lost from a very winnable position.
Yeah, now it is the same defense once over again. As you mentioned, it was very close, and Avant also put themselves in a strong position early on, the 5 versus 2. So Mindfreak will be a little bit more prepared for Avant's plan and can react accordingly, change things up as needed. That said, Avant also might be a little bit more prepared for some of the plays that the Mindfreak guys were making in that round.
Well, here we go once again, led by the Monty into Hookah. Was that Copper just trying to find the angle here?
Yeah, he's just trying to figure out that tiny little extra sweat hole, you could call it.
This could really work.
My gosh, that is
he's aiming
so
a little
sneaky.
bit too low. Sorry, a bit too high.
Oh, don't shoot Fisho, please. You've done that enough. Oh my god, so close, Fisho! And now the position completely revealed for Copper. And he's taking out on the flank.
Yeah, cool vibes. I could see the silhouette. I'm like, hold on, they haven't cleared cool vibes yet.
I don't think there'll be very many cool vibes in the Avant audio chat right now.
Well, you know, it really feels like Mindfreak's winning this one unless Avant can just go full-on sicko mode here.
And we really haven't seen them do that. A lot of the plays have come from Mindfreak, not from Avant. Avant have been really good and consistent, but the plays have come predominantly from Mindfreak. Flossy hasn't maybe had as much time to warm up as the rest of his team, as he didn't play in map number 1. It was Nico who subbed in. But we know he can do some damage. We know he's a good fragger, and his team need him to step up. Ooh.
There we go, Luna to find Warden, and Fisher guy looks like he's about to engage the air jab, and he's gone for the ADS, gets the kill as well. Fisher guy has entered into the bomb site. He is aware of the Jaeger's position now, but is he going to try and plant in his back corner here? Probably a bit too risky, right? As Flossie has found wings. So 2-on-4, should be right to go for a plant now.
Stars are aligning for Avant. That was completely unnecessary from Flossie, but he does it. What? Okay. That was very risky, but good cover at the end from Luna to close out the round for Avant. One step closer to this comeback. It's still on the cards, but looks like Avant are back in the game.
That round was a bit better, but I'm still not convinced.
There were some silly mistakes. I don't understand why was it Flossie just go for that kill onto the one in bathroom? You know what I would have done? I would have smoked up the door between theater and penthouse, because you're the Monty, you can do that. And then you waltz up to that bathroom.
Just lock him in there.
You lock him in there.
Yeah.
And if he tries to peek you, then you can call it out to your teammate, and your teammate should really win that fight. But instead, Flossie decides to take a 1v1, and the Monty can't really refrag because he's only got the pistol. Anyhow, Luna closed it out. Luna did some good. We didn't really see her on screen much, but she helped out in that final round, pushing from the theater side. And we're over back into Hookah. It's worked out It's the first defense for Mindfreak, and they did seal the deal on this objective previously.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, Avant started sloppily but in that last round, but yeah, they just found all the frags that were required, didn't they, in the end? Like, I can't believe that Shade got that kill from Cool Vibes so easily.
Yeah, it's really funny because Avant, they do seem very coordinated and very strategic, but perhaps they get so insanely focused that they actually tunnel vision a little bit and miss out on some of these crucial components, such as, yeah, you can drone out that Cool Vibe stairs, check that there's no one there, but you kind of have to make sure no one pushes up it. If you're just playing in that hallway, you can't expect that the defenders will be like, oh, sorry, yeah, you know, you took that ground, so that's your ground now. We can't take that back.
It's not a board game.
No, no rules like that.
People have legs.
They can move.
We move carefully.
So the Montaigne being used to take control of Aquarium, which is okay. That's the shot. Luna's down on the ground. JC really been pulling his weight here, and a big blow, losing out Luna. No more concussive devices to perhaps make the job of Spruce a bit less easy behind this bar. And Monty can see him, but unless he goes for this very risky short-range gunfight, this is likely to not mean much, except for Spruce being taken out from the ruins spawn.
He is a doc, so he's going to be able to heal himself back up if he can get to safety. That's the big if here, the big ask, the big
he whips out that stim pistol in front of the Monty. Monty will probably take him down, and that's exactly what happens. Fisher guy doing some good work despite losing his assisting player early on. Someone who does need to shoot out this this device. There you go. Nice smack with the shield. We'll get rid of that. JC's still in his aggressive position in that second floor hallway, ready and poised to retake onto Aquarium.
Are Avant maybe just trying to play too simple? Like, it seems like they're just trying to brute force their way into most sites with this Monty.
Hey, it's working for them at the moment. They dealt with that one obstacle. Sometimes I find, you know, you can have these overarching generalizations saying, you know, don't play too simple, don't play too complex, but it's really what matters is actually the results of these rounds and the grounds that you take. Now, Shade, peeking out aggressively, does take down Copper. So that's the Blackbeard eliminated. These smoke babes also not working so well as Warden just peeks perfectly timed. Takes out Fisher, guys. C4 doesn't find anything, but spray through the smoke will do justice. Just Vicious left. He'll be taking out one player, but he's eating a lot of goo mines. Warden closes that kill. Vicious is down on the ground, and we're on to match point for Mindfreak.
Yeah, once again, another attacking round that was really not convincing there from Avant. Like, you can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to change it up, but every time they try and make that next step, something just blindsides them that they have to try and correct for. And, you know, in the end, it's just too much, and Mindfreak end up winning the round from it.
Interestingly, when Avant were defending, they tried every all 4 bomb sites within 4 rounds. Now, we've had 4 rounds for Mindfreak, and we've only seen Penthouse and Hookah. They've won both Hookah and lost both Penthouse. So, locked out of Hookah now. Don't go back to Penthouse. You're going to lose that one, so let's try Kitchen. Up in the air for this one. We haven't seen it yet out of Mindfreak, and we haven't seen how Avant feel on this attack. What are you thinking now, especially since the Avant operator lineup's changed quite a lot?
17 frags there for Warden.
That's nasty.
That is nasty. You know, I think Mindfreak got this dub in the bag here. Like
7-4, final verdict.
It might not be this round, could be the next one, but yeah, I don't know. It just looks too dire for Avant. Like, they haven't shown anything great on attack so far. They've just been going for these kind of super basic plays that are coming off sometimes, and then sometimes just getting shut out by Mindfreak.
It's funny because we were tilting towards Avant before this, and I mean, you specifically, you really were saying it. When I was describing to some of the other guys at the studio about kind of Mindfreak as a team, I was saying, you know, well, they're the team that was doing, you know, pretty poorly, and then they made 2 roster changes, which on paper should have made them do even more poorly, and then they started doing really well.
It's I don't know, it's an interesting one. But, you know, sometimes that's all it is. Like, a team is, you know, more than the sum of its parts from working together and in cohesion. And, you know, if you have the right parts, then, you know, even though your original players on paper aren't as good as... Sorry, your new players aren't as good as the original players on paper, but, you know, if they're in the right team environment, they can be.
It's really impressive how quickly Mindfreak have made that roster change work. No, it's been a few weeks to a month or two now, but straight out of the gate they did well, and it's not just that it was the reinvigoration of that immediate roster change that led them to do well, because it's been a while now and they're still really making it work. Opening up the floor, something that worked really well for Mindfreak on their attack of this bomb site, but Avant are yet to find a proper kill out of it. You can see how much soft breach they've brought. A new animation for deploying the breaching charges now. It's significantly faster. I do love that. It's really nice, isn't it?
Oh, Flossie almost takes a lot of damage through the floor there. Managed to escape, but Shade's going to find the first one in this round. Vicious, he's down.
You can see Warden's so confident, peeking aggressively through these holes. And Avant are a bit lost. They've lost the first gunfight in the round, and now Warden and the remaining defenders on site are just comfortably walking around downstairs, peeking up through these holes. Mindfreak still have a couple of roamers activated as well, and Avant has no way of dealing with this. Finally, Warden goes down.
It's like Avant aren't putting together any concentrated pressure. It seems like just, you know, I pressure from this angle, you pressure from this angle, but they're not really working together as Copper. Quick flick there.
It was a revive from the dock, but quickly punished as Fisher guy actually gets in aggressively. What are you doing? And how does he find the kill out of that? But two quick frags for Mindfreak. Fisher guy knows he needs to help out as well. Luna, it's time for her to do some work and cover it, but shot out through the wall. JC makes that happen. A 1 versus 2 clutch position for Luna with just about 35 health. 15 seconds, no diffuser to speak of. This is surely GG, but can she find even the first kill? JCZ takes down Luna and secures Mindfreak 3 points tonight here on Coastline.
Yeah, great stuff from the struggling Mindfreak. Avant really not looking great here on Coastline. Like, as I said, they've banned it pretty much all the time, but it's, you know, they've played it a few times. They've played it another time. That's another loss for them on this map.
An impressive scoreline as well at the end of it, 7-4, which I know that the graphic didn't say that, but trust me, I wrote it down. It's 7-4.
Yeah, we all just saw it get there anyway, but yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a shock how this whole night went. The bans, the results, and everything.
Yeah, it's really interesting because, I mean, coming into the night, we really thought Avant would have the upper hand, and we were impressed by Mindfreak for being able to take a draw on map number 1. And then what do? They impress us even more on map number 2. Hats off to Mindfreak, a winner 7-4 on Coastline. They head home with 4 points from tonight, 3 from that win and 1 from the draw earlier on. And Avant surely disappointed to only head home with a breadstick.
Yeah, well, you know, I think Avant are safe from getting into relegation zone.
Currently 11 points now with that one on top of it.
So, and I think with this result, it's also confirmed that they're not going to be top 2. So, yeah, very disappointing, of course, for Avant to know they're locked out of land spot, for sure.
Top 2 was a stretch for them, but I think they can't be too disappointed with themselves. I still think that they've got to be happy that they have continued to improve with their roster changes. Picking up Luna seems to have been a positive impact, as we see she did have a couple of strong plays throughout this match and previously as well. So look, I think Avant have to be fairly happy with where they're at the moment in the Pro League, even if they certainly wanted a better result out of tonight.
Yeah, well, you know, I think we have to just, you know, also tip our hats to Warden, because he had so much impact this whole match.
It was a bit of a hard carry for a lot of it. No, I'm not going to discredit the effects of some other players, particularly JC, but yeah, I mean, you saw it in the end in chat with that Rook Elite skin victory animation, and Warden in chat, he just says, "Rook mine."
Yeah, he definitely went off, that's for sure.
Yeah, he did. Man, it's a high kill count for a game that's not actually going into overtime.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've been really impressed overall today with Mindfreak, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts about how you think they're going to progress going forward in the league, because they're currently sitting at the bottom, and I don't know, they look way better since they've had that roster change.
Yeah, they definitely do. You know, of course, they're going to have to play relegations at the end of the season if they stay down the bottom. There could still be a chance that they do go a bit higher on the ladder there and cement themselves another season of Pro League. And, you know, it seems like they're like perpetually the one to watch.
Yeah, and I mean, after their match results tonight that we've seen so far, I think that this is a demonstration that they have been improving. So 6-6 against Avant, who were until last night in 4th place, and then 7-4 a victory over those guys. You know, Avant, we know they're good. You know, they beat out Auglis earlier in the season. So Mindfreak, I got to agree with you. I think they are doing better. The main contender that's going to be for them is TBD, previously known as Low-Key, who is the next in line on the chopping block for that relegation position. And Mindfreak certainly, I think that they have have what it takes to overcome them. Interestingly, that low-key team, that's TBD, is actually where Spruce and JCZ have just come from. Yeah. So they ditched their team in the second last place in the Pro League, headed on down to Mindfreak. Let's have a look at the standings so we have a bit of context for these guys. So this is where it's looking up. Just last night, we saw Auglis versus Darksided and Fnatic versus Oddity. The results of those matches is why we have this 4 order right here, with Auglis sitting at the top.
And yeah, Mindfreak are actually out of the relegation zone. TBD is there. However, TBD have not played 10 matches like Mindfreak have. So
yeah, that's right.
Game in hand there.
I got to say also, TBD have had a couple tough matches this season so far. You know, they've already played Fnatic, for example.
So have Mindfreak. I think they started off with Fnatic and then Auglis.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Well, I think it's going to come down to a lot of a scrap near the end of the season. You know, with this season, sometimes I think that your points really can slip away if you just, you know, drop one draw against this team. For example, you know, Fnatic last night, you know, they dropped to Oddity. It was 2 draws, which, you know, you can't let points slip away like that, because that does make the vital difference if you're trying to avoid that Challenger League position, or you're trying to secure your 1st or 2nd place position currently occupied by the 2 beasts of the region.
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, just looking at the ladder here, I think did Fnatic have 1 loss, or do they have another draw? Because
no, they don't actually have any losses.
Yeah, so I think they're on even points with Auglis, because they've only got 5 wins, 2 draws, which adds up to 7, not 8 matches. So yeah.
Yep. So look, coming into the final, you know, half of this season, which we now only have, I believe, 2 Playdays remaining, or 2 or 3 Playdays remaining. So Oddity and Avant is some middle ground there.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear. No, we saw Oddity do really well last night. Avant maybe subpar to expectations tonight. How do you feel that middle region's going to end up in the bracket?
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Oddity take up number 3.
Okay.
Avant, once again, you know, guys who maps that they should be winning, or we feel they should be winning, they're just not putting up the result when it matters. So I really don't think they're going to move too much in the grand scheme of things. So I think it will go, you know, 1st Fnatic, 2nd Auglis, 3rd Oddity.
1st Fnatic, 2nd Auglis, really?
I'm just,
all right.
Okay, those 2 interchangeable.
All right.
You know, then I'd say, yeah, Darksided probably 4th, then Avant. That's what I'm thinking.
All right, cool. Well, that's how Avant are sitting after today. Mindfreak as well have escaped that Challenge League position, at least for now. But that's going to wrap up our matches for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us, and don't forget to tune in this weekend for the 6th Oceanic Cup online phase. We'll see you guys then. As it retreats upstairs, Shade once again. There's no drone ahead of him. He doesn't realize where the players could be. No, that's the wrong player. Take his head off.
You know, I was like, oh, he thinks someone's behind half. Well, he's aware, but no, he was just trying to... It's the 1-on-3 for JCZ, 1-on-2, 1-on-1 now. Nico, he's going to try and ninja this with no time there, and JCZ. It's the 1-on-3 for JCZ, 1-on-2, 1-on-1 now. Nico, he's going to try and ninja this with no time there, and JCZ.
Hey, but look at this, a great timed drone. Nico managed to find 1 killer. Oh, what? Hello? Okay, all right. That's a good almost refrag. A C4 coming out! No!
A team kill with it!
Team kill! It's also to Customs, which is
here we go.
Oh, okay. Oh! What a flick from Spruce! Oh my god, that's the position, and somehow didn't find that kill. As she tries to sneak in, she'll find 1 player, take him out, but run straight into a second one, gets the knife! Oh my god!
In fact, Fisher is calling him out. It's going to be the peak there.
Oh no,
Gets
the second
down.
peak!
Copper's followed it up and he
Oh
goes
my
for the
God!
pistol. What a shot! Luna has to be worried about the one on the hookah balcony. Goes for the peek, gets the kill, gets the down. Gonna finish it off first and decide to fall on back, so she knows where he is for now. Goes for another peek and Shade wins that
Push and punished as he exposed his backside. Oh, speaking of exposure, Copper takes the risk on JC right now.
Oh, he's been discovered, but JC's going to find one, and so we go Luna to find Warden, and Fisher guy looks like he's about to engage the air jab, and he's gone for the ADS, gets the kill as well.
Fisher guy actually gets in aggressively. What are you doing? And how does he...
Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo.